One.
Hey everybody, my name is Exotix, and this is going to be another episode of the Randomly Generated Podcast, with always my co-host, Fedora Gamer.
The host until your ass came back.
What? Come on.
Welcome
Fedora.
back. It's good to have you back, buddy.
Hi, I'm back. Our entertainer, YouTuber, streamer? Parlock, what are you? Explain what you are.
British.
I'm British, and other than that, not a lot.
Not a lot. Okay, not a lot. And our developer for the week, Eric from 82 Apps, the developer of Disco Dodgeball.
Hey everybody.
Welcome to the show. Very pleasure to have you.
Very pleasure.
Yes. English
Wow,
good.
such pleasure.
Yes, and this is going to be our end of the year podcast. The podcast that I came back to is going to have the most arguing, I'm sure, because we're going to pick our favorite games, and we're going to pick favorite games of 24th this year that we're in, and our favorite games out of certain categories. So I'm sure that will spark a lot of arguments.
Everyone but me is wrong.
Parlock is insanely cynical because he's British.
not.
So you are the most cynical man I've ever heard.
It's part of being British, dude. It's your heritage. Accept
It comes
it.
with the territory.
Embrace it. All that snark.
Embrace the snark. Use it.
All right, so are we gonna go ahead and hop into our game of the year, or are we going to do anything before that, Fedora?
Now let's get right into the game there. We're scrapping what we've been playing and our gaming news in this episode to have time to discuss our game of the year picks, because it's the last episode of the year, so we should do something like that.
Yeah, of course. Excitement.
Jens, leave us alone. I'm special and Exotix is rusty.
Yeah, I haven't talked in a while to internet, and I can't speak. But who is gonna go first? Because actually, should we? Okay, we should wait on the top 5, and we should go around with our categories.
Yep, start with the categories.
Okay, so best soundtrack for myself. Then we'll go Fedora, then we'll go Parlock. Myself would be BioShock Infinite. Even though the game didn't have like Parlock was saying, he was saying to me, you guys didn't hear that, very memorable, just like music in the action sequences. Like there's certain scenes where they very memorable music. I remember there was a barbershop quartet at a certain scene that was very memorable for me, and there was a part where Booker picks up a guitar and he was singing with Elizabeth. That was really good, and that was some of my favorites. Moments this year, music-wise.
Yeah, it's all right.
Yeah, but Fedora, you just hate anything AAA.
Actually, BioShock Infinite is probably the only AAA game I've played this year. Well, one of like maybe 2.
Yeah, come on, Fedora.
Yeah. Okay, so you done?
Yeah, sure.
Our Darker Purpose soundtrack by Nate Fenrick Smith, which we just heard during the pre-show. That is my pick for best soundtrack.
It was actually, I haven't heard it yet, but yeah, that was pretty snazzy.
He nailed the atmosphere of that game perfectly, like the creepy children in evil orphanage feel. He nailed that.
Yeah, definitely, it sounded really good.
I've never heard of our Darker Purpose.
Well, then
Am
you
I
fail at
behind on
life.
something?
Well, it's still in development. It should you can buy into
Yeah,
the
it's
beta.
not too popular yet, yeah.
But it should be launching within the next couple months, I believe. It's content complete, more or less. They're at the polish, bug smashing, and balancing stage of development right now. So it's a lot like Binding of Isaac, but okay, the combat's a lot like Binding of Isaac, but it's definitely its own thing. It's definitely has its own feel to it. It has a very Tim Burton-esque art style, wonderful music, a lot more RPG type elements to it than the Binding of Isaac has. So it's a wonderful game. There's also
that sounds rad.
an item named after me in the game, so that kind of makes it top of my list for most things.
You're biased. You're
Yep.
completely biased.
He's been bribed, he's been bought out, guys.
But it was a successfully Kickstarted game something like 6 months ago, Kickstarted, and I helped a lot with the Kickstarter, which is why there's an item named after me in the game. Not by backing at that level, just
This isn't
because
the,
I pushed that Kickstarter like
This isn't
crazy.
the biggest Fedora brag.
Yes, it is. Dude, there's an
Come
eye
on.
named after me in the game. It's called the Fedora of Crisis. It's awesome. It's and it's actually probably one of the strongest items in the game. I only actually have a good run in that game if I get that item, which is kind of ironic. I have to have my
I think
Fedora.
it's just kind of like a placebo for you. Gotta have the
Yeah.
Fedora.
I have to have my Fedora to do anything in that game.
Alright, Parlock, Mr. Cynicism himself.
Oh no. Okay, so this is a game that I hadn't actually heard of for ages, and it's Dead Bits, which is
Dead Bits?
it's a voxel first-person shooter Doom type thing.
Never
And
heard
I
of
have
it.
no idea who it's
Interesting.
developed by. But I
Good
got
to
it
know you
in.
did your research.
Yup. It was in one of the groupies bundles, and it's got a really, really cool soundtrack. It's like dubsteppy paranormal activity, and it is. I really like it. I definitely like the soundtrack more than I like the actual game. So that's why it wins for that one.
We had to look that game up just to hear the soundtrack at least.
Would it be cheating to say like Audio Surf 2 since it's your own music?
Yes, it would
Oh,
be
man.
cheating.
And of course, Eric chooses Disco Dodgeball.
Of course. That actually wins every category for me.
Disco Dodgeball
Wow.
soundtrack is pretty badass, though.
It is a good soundtrack.
Yeah, I was really excited when I'd heard some of the songs before, like the Super Hot trailer is kind of where I first heard one of the tracks. And then it also showed up in the Confederate Express Kickstarter.
Mhm.
And I was like, I should just talk to this guy because it's just the perfect kind of sound for the game.
Who's
that I was
the one
building,
that did
so.
the music?
So the guy's name is, he goes by Adhesive Wombat. And
I love
he's
that
on
name.
SoundCloud. And sorry?
Best name.
The
Yeah.
best name.
He's on SoundCloud, and I just put out the actual Disco Dodgeball soundtrack that has some of his tracks. And then another guy, an Octave, that I met again at a conference last year, and had him write some original music for the game. So, but I
Nice.
think the main music that everybody knows is the stuff from Adhesive Wombat.
Yeah, I've heard of it. I've been to his SoundCloud often.
Yeah.
He's a fantastic musical artist.
It's so good. It's so good. So
You can
hopefully
put
the
that-
game will get him some more exposure, and ideally I'll be able to pay him to write some more original stuff for the game because that'd be amazing.
Yeah, you can just put his music behind anything, and it's
Yeah,
fantastic.
yeah. And you don't get sick of it either. For
No,
a long
no.
time, there's only 4 songs in the game, and you play an hour, you're hearing each song 3 or 4 times, and it just kind of it just meshed so well with gameplay that it didn't stick out and didn't get annoying.
Yeah, it kind of blends in with the whole entire atmosphere, and I think that's really what makes you not get sick of it. Because
Yeah.
it feels like something you would, if you went to kind of like a laser tag arena or something of that sort, it feels like that. It feels you kind of get into the atmosphere.
Yeah, totally.
All
That
right.
was my award.
Best gameplay is our next cat. I cannot say words at all today. Best gameplay for me would be a game called Guacamelee, or Melee, or I don't know how to say that word ever. Which is a pretty cool game. It's one of my biggest. I didn't choose it for my biggest surprise, but it is one of my biggest surprises too, because I kind of heard of it out of the blue. It just came out on Vita one day, and I played through it in almost one day. It was a fantastic. It's kind of like a Metrovania beat 'em up kind of game. It has this Mexican lucha libre. I don't even know how to describe the atmosphere, but kind of like the kind of Mexican heritage type thing, where you're playing as lucha libre, then you get new powers, like the normal Metrovania thing, and it's a fantastic game. The gameplay, it all meshes very well with the other powers. You can kind of combo a lot of people into different things, and once you get them kind of stunned, you can throw them at other people. You have to play it yourself to kind of get the whole entire
It's
experience.
a game
but
I've wanted
it
to
is-
play, and I remember seeing it on Steam sale the other recently, and then I forgot about it. I was like,
It was
oh,
like
I
a
should
couple
pick that.
dollars.
Yeah, I'm like, I should pick that up while it's on sale, and then I forgot about it
Yeah.
until the sale ended. I was like, damn it, forgot to grab it. I saw it on my phone while I was at work, and then forgot all about it by the time I got off work.
It's worth picking up even not on sale, man. Get it right
Totally is. It
Such a good
really,
game.
really is.
now. Have you played that at all, Eric?
No, I haven't played that at all. I mean, I'll just preface everything I'm saying with I've been horrible about keeping up to date on games this year. Obviously, busy with my own stuff, and
Dev
I
life,
don't know.
man.
Like, I would listen to news and kind of follow and watch videos, but I really haven't played that much stuff this year.
Hmm.
So I've also missed out on Guacamelee.
Yeah, so gamers out there that think that being a developer would be awesome because you love video games, when you are a developer, you don't play video games.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
really sad.
We have a category, or we have a section of the podcast of talking about what games you have played this week. And the developers section always like 2 minutes long because they play their own game and maybe one other thing.
Yeah, and also like you tend to like play one game and then you just get it really quickly, and it's hard to get kind of excited about games and kind of like get that player innocence again. You're just like, okay, I see what they're doing, and that's interesting. And
Yeah,
I'm
that's
done
like
with
if you
it.
ever worked on a movie set or something. When you watch like sitcoms or something, you feel like you're in that movie set. Everything just looks kind of, or you know what's going. Not everything looks fake, but you kind of know what's the whole entire ordeal is about.
And when you're watching it, you're busy looking for all these things that you know, like things going on in the background, and
Definitely.
you're not really concentrating on getting into the movie and the story and all that.
When someone dies, you look at their chest, see if they're breathing.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
it's kind of a curse.
Yeah, in the Valve games where they've got all their developer commentaries, every time I go through them and listen to them, every time I go back after that, I'll be looking for the little things they mention, like the little design,
Yeah.
like shortcuts they do. So like, you'll have a bit which says, when we're doing this cutscene, we're actually rendering it in a different bit of the level. So then every time I see that cutscene bit, I'll think, that is actually going on 100 feet below me in a little boxed off room, and it completely takes away from the magic, if you want.
Definitely.
It's like peeking behind the curtain, you know.
Yeah.
Did you get a
Can't unsee
chance
that.
to play Stanley Parable?
I did.
Okay, yeah, that's like most developers play that, I think.
Yeah, and I think there's also a lot of developers are very insular in what they kind of play. Like they all kind of talk and get excited about the same games. So I played that because like everyone on my Twitter feed was talking about it.
I haven't
it was-
actually
it was-
played it myself.
Yeah,
Neither of us.
it's cool.
I
It
think
looks
only
hilarious.
developers have played it.
It didn't like teach me anything I didn't already know about like games and players, but it was still really well made and it was interesting for what it was. I don't want to spoil anything for anyone that hasn't played it because I would definitely recommend it. It was a lot of fun. For me, the most interesting point is when the game crashed on me and I wasn't sure if that was intentional or not. Like I was so messed with at that point
Like,
that I don't know if that was like some some extra side path that I just
Yeah, like
discovered.
Fez.
Yeah.
I know Fez did that. At the beginning of Fez, it crashes, but it was part of the game.
Arkham Asylum does it as well.
A AAA game does it? That's kind of weird.
Yeah, Arkham Asylum, one of the Scarecrow sections, basically has the game crash on you.
Scarecrow is terrifying in that game. I don't like it.
See, the worst part about being a dev is like the dev's always like, "Oh, I played my own game," but the bad part is you're not even playing your game to play it most time. You're playing it to work on it and test it. And
Yeah, it's the whole thing like being a QA tester. You think like, oh, great, I get to play video games all day long, but
it's
you're
all
playing,
great.
like,
I get to do the same thing
section.
2,000 times.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Again, like you were saying earlier, Eric, with being a QA tester, I'm sure that almost completely takes you out of the atmosphere for most video games.
Yeah.
Because
yeah,
you know exactly how to look for bugs and everything like that.
right.
It's not as
And just
fun
the
as people
repetition,
think
too.
it sounds. I would
Yeah.
still take that job over my crappy job, but still, it's not as fun as people think it is.
Like there was Fedora chat. There was I think like a online web series called The Tester, where there was like a bunch of people
Yeah.
working to get that kind of job, and I don't know if they knew what they were gonna get into.
They,
I'm
they
sure-
knew exactly what they were getting into. They knew they were going to get internet famous for 5 minutes by doing it.
I think
They
Ego
knew
Raptor,
exactly.
which is a YouTuber, was on the second season or third season.
Yeah, he was on the 3rd season, and he caused a massive shitstorm because he basically got kicked off it because of stuff he hadn't done, and so he was going around on like Game Grumps and stuff saying all the behind the scenes stuff, how corrupt it all was.
I'm sure all reality TV shows, completely corrupt and toxic.
Surprise, folks! Reality TV isn't real.
All right, were we on you, Fedora, for best gameplay?
I guess so. So are we talking in these categories? Are we allowed to only do released games or early access and development games as well?
Oh, we have an early access. This is released. We have an early access
Okay, for released
category.
games for best gameplay, no. I'll have to go with Aces Wild.
I told you to think about this. You sound confused.
Well, the thing I
Aces
had
Wild
in
is fantastic.
it is. I mean, there's a dog that pees lasers.
That is
It's
a very
a
good
Shiba.
choice.
It's a Shiba.
Yes.
Shiba that pees lasers.
And I don't know, the combat's great, but it's a refreshing throwback to an almost dead genre. Beat 'em ups, you don't see many of them these days. So
Well, it's different from a normal beat 'em up. I mean,
Yeah.
like half the game you're just flying in the air.
yep. But it's a nice refresher of that genre that I used to love a lot when I was younger. That really there isn't many entries into these days. I mean, Guacamelee is, but it's also the Metroidvania,
Yeah.
and so I don't know. Aces Wild's more focused on being pure beat 'em up with the ridiculously good
yeah,
combat.
definitely. And apparently I'm really good at that game. I was playing it once with a keyboard even.
Yeah, I can't play that game with a keyboard at all. I have never actually beat the game, but the game is amazing.
Have we had Tyler on the podcast yet?
No, I think there's a reason he couldn't, like bad internet and crappy microphone.
Okay.
I don't remember. I'll check. I'll ask him sometime though.
Parlock.
Hello.
Hi.
Mine is the same as Exotix. My best gameplay is definitely Guacamelee.
There you go.
And a thing that Exotix didn't mention was how damn good the overall level design in it is as well. Because
Very
it's
good.
a
It's
because
so
it's a
good.
Metroidvania, you go back to previous areas,
Mhm.
but it's like there's stuff that you won't even notice the first time round. That when you go back with new powers, it seems so obvious that you're really shocked that you completely
Yeah.
ignored it the first time round, and I really like that a lot.
Then you can turn into a little chicken and you can get to like small crevices and also like you were saying with the level design, it's so good. I haven't played the game in months, but I pretty much know the whole entire game in my head, like the whole
Yeah.
entire layout. Like I can tell you exactly where to go without looking at the screen.
That is really good
Yeah.
game design because a lot of Metroidvanias get real confusing with how the different screens connect and such, and get
It's
real
fantastic.
mazy. If it's something that you don't get lost in, even after not playing for a few months, then that's really good level design.
We actually forgot to talk about the dead and alive thing. When you press right
Oh,
bumper on the
yeah.
Vita, I forgot about that actually. You can, you turn into like I think it's called You're Dead and Alive, right? Isn't that what it is?
You can because the whole story of the game is that the god of the underworld is attacking and trying to take over both worlds, and you can flip between the like the
Dead,
realm
like
of the
Day
dead,
of the Dead, and yeah,
yeah, and the living world, and it's like some enemies you can only attack in one of the specific worlds, and then the environment can change depending on what world you're in. So a lot of the puzzles are revolving around very quickly flipping between living and dead, which is really cool.
yeah, a lot of really intense platforming, mashing like the right bumper and jumping. And it's a fantastic game. I recommend anybody that has not tried it. It's on
Definitely.
Steam right now.
It's still
I don't-
50% off, by the way.
Yeah, I don't know if it will
Get
be
it.
by the time this podcast is up, but right now it's $7.49 on Steam, dollars. I don't know how many pounds.
See,
Um,
both you picking that game, I can't argue that since I've never actually played it. Maybe if I had played it, it might have been the same pick for me, actually.
yeah, you should play it.
There's so many games, I can't keep up with them.
You should play it though.
There's another really good thing about Guacamelee, and that is definitely the boss fights.
Oh yeah, they are fantastic.
There's not a lot of them, but the ones that there are really, really
There's only like
memorable.
4, right?
I think there's 5,
5.
because there's two phases to the end boss.
Okay. I guess you could count that then.
Yeah.
Okay, next category.
Hey, what about Eric?
Oh, Eric.
Well, I think he didn't play many games.
Yeah.
He's just gonna like comment on what we
Well,
said.
we're gonna make him make up an answer anyway. So, Disco Dodgeball, do it. You know.
Well, so probably Disco Dodgeball. I'm looking at like the games that I played this year, and a lot of them are also 2012 games. Like I would wait for the games to go on sale,
Right.
and then play them. So I'm looking at through the games. I was like, yeah, I played that. I like that. I'm like, yeah, that's like a year old.
You can go ahead and say 2012 games. Just whatever you played this year. We won't, but whatever you played this year.
So I liked a lot of Far Cry 3.
Okay.
I love FPSs where you can kind of sneak around. Like, I always pick the bow and arrow. I never go for a minigun or rocket launcher. I want to sneak into the base and pick people off one at a time and like wait for the moment. And Far Cry 3 was kind of built to do just that. Like that was 90% of the game for me.
Yeah.
And I just really, really enjoyed that. Just really scratched that itch for me.
The voice acting and characters in that game are also fantastic, and
yeah,
it's a really special game.
And the open world design is great. I've seen several videos of it. It's another game that I own and have yet to play, but
very colorful. I like colorful.
Very.
Yeah, I'd much rather like hang out on a nice jungle island than like in a dungeon.
Well, I mean,
somewhere.
this whole entire generation has just been like browns and grays for every shooter.
Yeah.
And like BioShock in this is a nice like splash of color that is really refreshing.
Mm-hmm. One thing that I really liked about Far Cry 3 was that you had the overall open world, but then the missions would put you in a smaller but still more open section of it. So it's like you weren't locked into an open world the entire time, and you weren't locked into a corridor the entire time, but it would swap between them.
I don't like how you
actually
couldn't
felt
save.
overwhelmed.
You couldn't save in the missions, right?
No, you couldn't.
Yeah, I didn't like that because I get really bad gamer ADD, so I can only play like a little smidge of a game at a time. So I want to like quit in the middle of a mission, but I can't. So I have to like force myself to play. Yeah, but the Far Cry 3 was a fantastic experience. I haven't finished it yet, but really cool.
Did you play Blood Dragon?
I did. I think I played like 2-3 hours of it. And yeah, like just a ton of fun.
Is it 2-3 hours long? I thought it was pretty short.
No, that's just how long I spent in it. I don't know. I don't think I got very far though, because again, I just spent all my time like raiding a base and then redoing it if I got spotted. So
yeah, I only thought it was about 2 hours. So it's longer. It's probably like 7 or so.
I think
it's
a
like
longer.
4. I think it's about 4 hours.
Because it's only like $15 and it's standalone, so that's a pretty good deal.
And yeah,
it's also in a double pack with Call of Juarez Gunslinger as well, which is a very good deal.
Yeah, really good.
That's another game I've been meaning to pick up actually. I have Blood Dragon, haven't played yet. Seen some videos of it. It's wonderful neon 80s cheese. It's the best way to describe that. And they knew what they were going for, and they went for it. They
went for it.
There's sharks with lasers on their heads. It's wonderful.
I mean, why not? Come on.
I think the game felt overall a bit floaty to me. There was something off about Blood Dragon, which it wasn't in Far Cry 3. And I can't quite put my finger on what it was. But it was just
you're a
something about
cyborg.
Blood Dragon, which I didn't like as much. Yeah, but it was like everything was very slippery to control, and it just didn't feel right.
I don't know. I haven't played it, so I can't comment on that.
Yeah, I haven't played it either, Blood Dragon, so I don't know either.
I think one of my favorite things about it, like
Sorry?
how they were going right for that 80s cheese, and like they just like didn't care about it being realistic. They just wanted to be ridiculous. And so you would be sneaking in the bushes, but you're holding a bow made out of laser beams that's just glowing brighter than the sun. Like nobody sees that, and like nobody sees you. And it's just because they were like, "This is awesome. We want to put it in." Screw realism.
I think they might. I haven't played it, but this is just an assumption. I think they might have been going for kind of a more like Doom, kind of like maybe, and that's why it's a little bit more slippery. Maybe they're going for like old like Doom likes or Quake or stuff like that.
If they're trying that, they didn't do that very well. If that's the way they're going,
Okay,
it just didn't feel as fun to play as Far Cry 3 to me. But I really did like the whole neon art style.
Mm-hmm.
That was awesome.
All right, next category is what?
Biggest disappointment. This is where people might get angry at us. If you get angry at us,
Batten down the hatches.
Jen, get your sword ready. My biggest disappointment is a game called Deadpool, just because I love the character Deadpool, and the game tried just to be way too funny. That's all it wanted to be, which I kind of didn't want that. I kind of wanted some grittiness to it. It didn't give me that at all.
See, I watched like Tenchi stream that, and it was freaking hilarious. That game was so funny.
Just humor. Come on,
Grow
was
a
just,
sense of humor, Exotix.
I have a sense of humor, but not that sense of humor. I mean, it was kind of like the humor in the comics, but I mean, he wasn't like that in the comics.
See, I never read the comics, so I don't give a shit. It was funny.
Yeah, I guess for like a Deadpool fanboy, it's different for just someone hopping in and liking the humor. Anyway, so let's get off of that. Fedora, what did you not like this year?
Every AAA game was a disappointment. Every AAA game.
Oh my god,
No,
Fedora
I'm,
just
no, I'm
quit it.
joking. I'm not that indie. The bad thing is, I haven't played anything that's disappointed me. But one thing I can say is a universal disappointment was Alien Colonial Marines. I didn't have to play.
Year?
Yeah, that was this year, wasn't it?
Why wouldn't
Yeah,
you go
that
for
was.
like? Why wouldn't you go for if it's universally disappointing? Why wouldn't you go for what's that one biker game that everybody?
Oh, Ride to Hell Retribution.
Yeah, there you go.
Because no one really cared about the game. It wasn't
Oh,
a big.
everybody hated it.
It wasn't a
nobody
big
expected
deal.
That to be good.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's exactly. It wasn't disappointment because it came out of nowhere. No one ever heard of it, and they're like, "Oh, this will probably be crap," and it was crap. Alien Colonial Marines got a lot of hype behind it. The complete bait and switching they did, showing fake gameplay, and not even they showed the stuff they showed at conventions was not the actual game. Like literally, it was made just for the conventions. There was segments in the convention gameplay that didn't even exist in the real game, like the auto loader thing, and it looked like parts of the stuff that was shown at the conventions that were in the real game did not look anything like it was in the released game. I saw a video that was doing side-by-side comparisons of what was shown at conventions and the actual game, and the actual game looked like garbage, and it looked good in the what they showed at conventions. It was complete false advertising and very, very much illegal. Somebody really should have done something.
It did get legally challenged in
UK, right?
it was either UK or Germany, I can't remember. Somewhere legally challenged it because of false advertising.
Yes, that's a game I didn't even have to play to wholeheartedly say it was a complete disappointment.
I don't think anybody's gonna argue with it.
Yeah, Angry
I
Joe's
agree on
video about that was hilarious. Like,
Who's that?
Angry Joe, his video about it, because he was psyched for that because he's a huge Aliens fan, and he was so mad that it was garbage. It's actually so bad that it's kind of funny, and almost has a comedy value playing that game. Like, the AI is so terrible.
Like the room level type thing.
Yes.
Or they troll too.
Yeah, and the AI, you can just walk right in front of the aliens, and they just stand there. You can just run through this area with like 50 aliens, and they just stand there. And the spawn holes where the aliens come out of are just like untextured black holes
Oh, what?
in the walls. Yeah, like these little crawl space type holes, completely untextured, just a black hole. It's
Yeah,
Is it
what-
bad
what's-
it's one of those games that's so bad it has entertainment value by being so bad.
Yeah, that's the kind of game you don't play by yourself. You play with a group of friends
Yeah,
and
you
you stream it
stream
or
it.
something. Yeah,
Yeah.
Do like a Mystery Science Theater 3000 kind of thing.
yeah. Just have like all of us and just do like a theater graphic and just have us like sitting down in the theater commenting while Parlock plays.
Oh, that would be wonderful.
Parlock. What did you not
Okay.
like?
Right. Before I say, chat, do not hate me, but it's
Chat, hate
Bioshock
'em.
Infinite.
Ooh,
Bioshock Infinite was my biggest disappointment of the year
ooh.
because
Hold on, you're kicked out of the
Partly
stream right
because I
now.
haven't been
About to get
excited.
chat.
I've just blown up the stream. I'm sorry. It's the only game this year that I've actually been excited for, and then when it came out, there was so much with it which I didn't like that it is just incredibly disappointing. Plus the fact that if you go back and you look at like conventions and like PAX and Gamescom and E3 and stuff, there's so much stuff which they show off, which never appears in the final game, and it shows what could have been, and comparing what we saw in conventions to what we actually got was kind of bad comparatively, and it's just.
Well, we'll get to my opinion on BioShock Infinite in a later category, I think. So I'll say the internet says you're wrong and you should be burned on a stake.
That is pretty much true.
Well, the thing is, there was a whole. It's like originally when they first announced the game, there was this whole other plot about the two different politicians in Colombia, so Comstock and Stoltenstall, and.
Who?
Either Saltonstall or Stoltenstall.
I don't know
or something.
him. Who's that?
He got removed from the game.
Okay.
They took him out completely. He's briefly referenced once in the game.
An audio or something?
I think he's got a poster or something ripped somewhere, and they took that entire plot and replaced that with Comstock and the Vox Populi. Elizabeth was going to be a hell of a lot more useful than she actually was. So like you could bring in bits of the sky rail so you could get to alternate areas.
Oh, that would be cool.
Or you can bring in like trains on the sky rail to knock enemies off it and that sort of thing. And they removed that completely. There's so much stuff, and they completely changed how the Boys of Silence worked. Because originally it was going to be they would collect sound from the environment. So if you shot, or if the enemy shot, or if something exploded, they would collect that and they'd use that as an attack. And then by the time the final game came out, they were glorified security cameras. So there's so much really cool stuff which they didn't do, and that is really disappointing.
They might have had, with the way the whole entire game looks and all that it tried to be, they might have had some limitations with the system. Since it's the end of the system and the graphics and all that they achieved, they might have not been able to put things like spawning in the sky rail or the train or anything like that. I think that might have been a reason.
Yeah, but it's like this wasn't stuff that they were just like talking about. They actually showed these mechanics working. Yeah. There's a whole gameplay trailer of one bit which is actually in the game, but they do completely different stuff with it, and it's just so disappointing.
I'm a huge.
I didn't know any of that.
I'm a huge
I'm a big old BioShock fan.
Yeah, I'm a huge cinema fan, and what I do is I never watch trailers because if trailers always get me makes me not want to see the movie, or makes me it makes me too hyped for the movie, I guess, and it doesn't live up to its expectations. So I kind of feel like I shouldn't do that for video games either.
Okay, that's how I learn about stuff.
And Indie Mouse, whatever. I've got problems with the actual released game as well. Like, Elizabeth is an awful character.
Booker, catch.
I hate. Booker, catch! Oh my god, I know everything! Like, shut up, Elizabeth. All she is there to do is lead you through Colombia and explain what is happening to you in ways that she couldn't possibly know, but she does because Elizabeth.
And you're not cynical?
Yes, okay, fine, whatever. I'm cynical. Elizabeth is an awful character, and I hate her, and she almost ruined the entire game for me.
Oh my god, Parlock. But everybody loves Elizabeth.
Everybody's wrong.
Everybody's so right.
I liked Elizabeth. That's actually one of the things I liked about that game.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite. That's my favorite character in that game.
I liked her.
I liked that it was companion AI that wasn't terrible.
Yeah, I liked her character. I didn't like how they used her to tell the story. I didn't like that she was just
not like that she threw things at you?
I didn't like that she seemed to know everything without there ever being any explanation as to why she knew everything.
Because she was like Comstock's puppet. So
that still doesn't explain how she knew exactly what tears were, or like exactly why a certain enemy later on in the game exists, or the whole twist at the end. She suddenly seems to understand that. She suddenly understands who the Lutece twins are. She knows all of this stuff, which she shouldn't possibly know.
Well, she tried to hit you with a book. I mean, she probably reads a lot.
yeah, it wouldn't have written all of that in books because only Elizabeth would. Well, I say only Elizabeth. Logically, Elizabeth would be the leading expert on tears and stuff because, she's the tear girl. But even then, she knows exactly what is coming through these tears. She knows
Careful with
exactly.
spoilers, by the way.
Yeah, I know. I'm not going to do any spoilers. She knows exactly the implications of all of these stuff going on. But what actually happens, she shouldn't be able to predict exactly the entire chain of events of the game, which she does, which I don't like.
Yeah, but it's a video game. They have to tutorialize somehow.
But she doesn't tutorialize. She's just there to provide oh god, what's the word? She's just there to give you the backstory. It's like, oh, this is Fink. He is a businessman. This is Comstock. He is religious. These are tears. They are magic.
You were the most. Okay, let's move on.
That's all. And this is the end of the game, Booker. No.
Whoa, you just got soulful with that. Whoa. Eric, this year or last year, what's your biggest disappointment in video game wise?
So I didn't play it, but I heard that Beyond Two Souls was another big letdown for a lot of people.
Very mixed reviews. People either absolutely loved it, and it was like almost their game of the year, or they hated it.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that is funny how like, so I very recently yesterday played Gone Home, and I really enjoyed that, and I played Dear Esther this year. I really enjoyed that. So I'm not anti like interactive narrative.
So you liked holding W for the entire game of Dear Esther?
But like the thing is like it's not about the interaction. It is about the story, and I think the problem with Beyond Two Souls is either they pitched it or they tried to mask it in gameplay. Instead of just focusing on the narrative, like Dear Esther, like you literally just walk around an island, like there's nothing to do. But it's a good story, it's a good atmosphere, and it just kind of gets you into it. And
it's definitely a different game from David Cage's others.
And I think it's like people didn't like the kind of false sense of choice. So it's like, oh, press this button to feel emotion, press this one to not, or whatever. And then people felt like they were insulted by that.
Yeah.
Because they didn't pull it off. So I think it's more an issue of what are they going for, and then were they able to execute it? It sounds like they just kind of, they messed it up with just quick time events. And if you're just there for the story, like they should have just focused on that. Like, I take out.
I definitely think it was focused to a certain type of gamer, not someone that likes the Call of Duties or things like that. Someone that cares more about the story and like can get invested into characters rather than just likes gameplay. I think so. It's definitely a mixed bag with Beyond Two Souls.
I watched a Let's Play of Beyond Two Souls, and I think I got exactly what I wanted out of just watching it more than playing it.
Yeah, it's something that the gameplay doesn't add too much to.
Yeah.
Or maybe it could be even a fault.
Drumming Viking knows what's up. Dear Esther was the best game to get wallpapers from.
Yeah.
I just went through that game screenshotting everything to get wallpapers.
Because everything looked incredible.
Yeah.
It was so crazy.
That was a Source Engine game, wasn't it?
Yeah. Looked
I can't
really
believe
good.
they got that out of Source Engine.
And just think of like how much time it takes to have someone, like every inch of that place was like handcrafted. And you think of like the caves and how much time it takes to make it look like that. For a game, that again is only 2 hours long, same with Gone Home. Everything in that house looked amazing. And it's just about creating the best possible experience for just 2 hours. And it's just like, wow. So I enjoyed those.
All right, what's the next category, Exotix?
Gotta type anger things in the chat. 1 second. I just said never mind. Next chat is biggest surprise. Personally, my biggest surprise is because I don't care about anime and I don't care about this specific anime at all. But Naruto Shippuden Ultimate Ninja Storm 3 Full Burst, that is a mouthful, is a fantastic game that I didn't expect to be fantastic because I don't care.
The title of that game is almost as ridiculous as Eric's game.
It's a absolutely fantastic game. Like, I didn't I thought it was just gonna be like a normal fighter, but the way that they put the story, it almost felt like you're watching a movie. Like it kind of did like the Ni no Kuni type thing, where it looks like you're playing a cartoon, like that kind of graphic style. And I fell in love with it. And the way that they incorporate the fighting, it kind of blends in, where it just feels like someone's in a confrontation. Then it automatically, like, there's one frame, then you're fighting him. It just feels like a really long movie, and I really appreciated that. And I did not expect anything out of that game. So
Yeah.
that's my
I'm
biggest...
an anime nerd, but I've never played that game, so I don't care too much for Naruto, the anime. I got tired
Exactly,
of
I
that
don't
after the
care
first
about
couple
anime or
seasons,
Naruto.
so...
Yeah.
I don't know, that's a console game only, isn't it?
No, I haven't.
No, it came out on PC.
Oh. Alright. Might have to
Fedora.
pick it up sometime. Biggest surprise, huh? I'll have to say Hearthstone. Just mainly because when it was first announced, the internet's like, everyone's saying they're going to announce Project Titan. The internet's like, oh, it's a stupid card game. And then when beta starts, the internet's foaming at the mouth, like ripping each other apart to get beta invites. So it was a pretty big surprise that everyone that was bad-mouthing it now plays it like 80 hours a day.
Wait, was Hearthstone Project Titan then?
No.
Oh, okay.
Which anyone with a remote shred of intelligence knew that they weren't going to announce Project Titan because the announcement wasn't at BlizzCon. They're not going to finally announce one of their biggest things they've been working on for ages at someone else's convention. So yeah, anyone that with half a brain could tell that wasn't going to, because they announced the announcement. They're like, we'll have something cool to show you at I don't remember what convention it was, but
Getting awful confrontational here.
yeah. Well, it's true. It's like everybody's like, they're going to announce Project Titan. I'm like, yeah, because they're going to announce that not at their own convention. But then the internet was like, ew, it's a card game. And then it came out on the internet. It's like, give me beta!
Yeah, everybody was insane for that game.
I actually got a beta invite finally, but I haven't yet started it because I think I might consume my life if I do. And I can't make content of that because it's not an indie game. But I do love TCGs, so.
Just called trading card game.
Or CCG.
Fine, whatever. Parlock. What you got?
My biggest surprise was Defiance.
Oh god, Parlock.
Yep, because when this game came out, I'd heard that it was shit, that it was awful, that it was broken, that it was buggy, that it was super bad. And then I finally bought it when it was like £3 on Steam, and I played it, and it's an MMO without the other people because it's dead, which is awesome. Because it's basically Borderlands without the obnoxious stuff.
It's not
with
though.
more people.
It's not at all. No.
It is. You didn't get past the tutorial, so
Because I didn't want to play the tutorial. That means it's not that good.
that makes no sense. But okay.
Well, if the tutorial doesn't grab me, then why would I even try it? If the whole entire look and the feel of the game. Oh, we're talking about Defiance, Chad.
Yes, but the thing I really liked about Defiance was how you'd go to this one area to do a quest or whatever, and there would be other people who you would never say anything to at all because, the social elements in Defiance are kind of bad.
Mm-hmm.
And you'd all naturally come together and you'd all naturally start playing it like a co-op game without ever having to communicate or anything. And it's like some of the quests are really well designed with the areas that they're in. So there'll be like lots of cover, lots of alternate routes around enemies, lots of flanking, all this sort of stuff. And all the different people playing it would just naturally come together in that. When Defiance works, it works really, really well. And again, it's my biggest surprise because I'd heard it was awful. I'm not saying it's the best game ever. I'm not saying it's necessarily a overall good game, even though it is overall a good game. I'm just saying I was surprised by how not bad it was when I played it.
I remember some of the advertisements for it, but I never really knew anything else about that game outside of the few
It's
trailers.
like based on a TV show or something.
The TV show and the MMO were co-made.
Oh,
Like,
that
the TV
game. I
show
was
is
thinking
based
it
on
was
the
something
MMO.
else. I was thinking to find something else. Yeah, if I were actually to pick up an MMO, I would probably try that because it looked really interesting to me. The
I don't like the feel of
I
it.
like it.
I don't like the tutorial.
you could run things over with your vehicles in that game. You know, that's pretty badass.
I had to like shoot a bunch of like rabbits or something. Didn't like it.
Hellbugs.
Hellbugs.
I'm looking at the screenshots now. I'd never heard of this game, but it looks amazing.
Yeah, as Parlock said, it's a lot like Borderlands in third person, and
Yeah.
the gunplay, from what I've heard, is actually really well done in that game. It's just the rest of
really
it
is.
is kind of, you know, run of the mill. Like the questing system is just boring stuff like every MMO in existence. Kill 10 rats.
I thought you liked
Yeah.
MMOs, Fedora.
I haven't played an MMO in forever, but I've played well over 20 different MMOs. I just can't invest the
Okay.
time into it anymore these days. And I do like MMOs, but I got sick of the same thing over and over and over again. I'm really sick of MMO hotkey combat where you just mash hotkeys like a monkey with a calculator. I can't
Yeah,
play
maybe-
those anymore. I've
Yeah,
played for
mine's like
years,
that as well.
but
Maybe it's because I just personally don't like MMOs at all. Maybe that's the reason I don't like Defiance, but I didn't care for it. Even though Parlock was a nice guy and bought it for me. I just
Yeah, I bought it for you, scumlord.
what a waste of money.
I like it.
Yeah, it does.
That's your own mistake for wasting money on Exotix.
Yep. Learned from that mistake.
What's your biggest surprise? Disco Dodgeball or?
So this one's a. Can we talk about mobile titles on this?
Yeah,
Sure.
anything.
So this is it's a game called Duet, and I'll try to post the trailer into chat. Have you guys heard of this at all?
I have not.
No.
No.
So it's a game by a studio called Comobius. They've actually done a bunch of great stuff like Bean's Quest and Time Surfer.
I know Beach
And-
Quest.
They released a game called Duet, and you're basically controlling two spinning colored dots and avoiding obstacles. And it sounds really like a really boring mobile title, but it makes your brain you're not used to thinking in terms of like radial awareness of you're used to like maybe dodging left and right, but the way you interact with this game is so different from anything else. It was just infecting my brain all day long. I couldn't stop thinking about it. I couldn't stop playing it, and you can feel yourself get better at this game every minute. And so what looks impossible becomes like, oh, I'm now an expert like half an hour later. And by the end, there's some ridiculous stuff where the obstacles just they flash on the screen briefly and then disappear. And so you have to memorize the pattern of obstacles coming at you
Oh wow.
while you're also inputting the the left and right dodging from a couple seconds ago. And it's the kind of thing your brain is just there's nothing else like it that makes your
Yeah.
brain do this. It's incredible. So
I'm looking at the trailer. I'm just thinking my brain will not be able to do that.
yeah,
This looks like the most satisfying game ever when you get it right.
it's so good. It's just like two guys. I think they're brothers. And that was one of the like games. Like again, it was a surprise because not a big studio. I didn't really like hear a bunch about it, but as soon as I played it, it was like probably my favorite mobile title of last year.
And you said that was mobile, so iOS and Android, or what is it on?
Let me check. It's so definitely iOS. I don't know if they've done Android.
Okay.
Looks like
no
just
one
iOS.
releases good games for Android, unfortunately. Because
Yeah.
piracy.
Oh, is it easy to pirate on Android?
Yup, you just download the APK file, put it on your phone, and you're done, basically.
Yeah, it's slightly easier to pirate on Android than it is on iOS, but it's pretty easy on
Slightly.
iOS too.
Don't you have to jailbreak? Isn't that kind of?
Yeah, and that's easy to do.
Yeah.
Best looking for this year. I'm gonna go ahead and my other choice was Last of Us, but I didn't play that. Last of Us is an absolutely stunning game, but I have to go with BioShock Infinite. Only for pretty much only the scene right where you see Columbia, like right when you step out of the
That
church
scene
kind
is
of
so
thing.
good.
Oh,
That scene is so good.
beautiful. Like,
Yeah.
the atmosphere and everything like that. So that is hands down on my choice for best looking. Fedora.
I have to agree. being actually pretty much the only AAA game I played. And, I love indie games, and a lot of them have some really great art styles, but, they're not high-end graphics-wise for the most part. So, I mean, look at Disco Dodgeball.
Exactly. Yeah, they're rectangles.
Yep. But BioShock Infinite is gorgeous. That game looks amazing. The city design was just wonderful to look at and explore, even if it was rather linear. So I have to agree, BioShock Infinite looks gorgeous.
Yeah, Colombia is probably my favorite place in any video game, maybe ever.
And
I just love the
just
atmosphere.
the different parts of it moving up and down, and because it's all flying, was just really freaking cool to look at.
The big statue at the front and everything is really good looking. Parlock.
So before I actually say what my thing is with BioShock Infinite, I really like how Colombia is. I really like the idea of a flying city. I really like the opening sequence and all of that. But
okay, let's not get on why you hate BioShock Infinite again.
No,
We already
I don't
did this.
Hate BioShock. No,
He doesn't
wait,
hate BioShock Infinite.
I don't hate BioShock Infinite. That's the thing. A lot of the game is spent inside, so you don't actually get to see as much of Colombia as I would have liked. And when you do see Colombia later on in the game, you're basically in a cloud, so you can't see all the floating buildings as much. It's a lot of the early game stuff, which
you
is
just have to
the most memorable stuff.
Cherish your early game,
Yeah. But my best looking game of the year is Night of the Rabbit, which was a point-and-click game by Daedalic.
Oh, I was gonna say, what hell is that?
Yeah, it's not technically intensive. It's not got now with Unreal 4 engine super graphics or anything like that. But the art style is so charming. The animation is lovely. It's just really, really nice to look at.
Yeah.
I really like how the art style in Night of the Rabbit was the thing which really appealed to me more than anything else. And then, the story was great. The voice acting was great. Everything was great about that game. But the art style in particular was just brilliant.
It's definitely a fantastic... It kind of does the thing like I was saying with Ni no Kuni and... I forget even what I said before. Naruto. Where it looks like a cartoon. Or it looks like a...
Yeah.
Maybe not even a cartoon. It looks like a storybook. Like a children's storybook, maybe.
Yeah.
It's just like... I think they use watercolor for it, and it looks fantastic.
They use a lot of hand-drawn art.
Yeah.
And it's a lot of the character design in that. It's like one of the main characters is a giant walking, talking magician rabbit. And he is so badass. And...
I'm not big into point and
Amazing.
clicks, but I'm watching the trailer, and it does look amazing.
Point and
Those-
clicks are cheerful and joyful.
Yeah, I don't
unless
know.
they're The Walking Dead.
Yeah, right. That's soul crushing, but that looks pretty cool. The scenery, it's very very. I can't think of a good word for it, but it's something. It's very surreal. That's a good word for it. Really awesome looking and surreal. That's pretty cool. I might have to actually play a point and click now and then.
Night of the Rabbit's got a demo, by the way.
I will get that
Yeah, get on that.
after the podcast.
Why wait?
Because I don't want to strain my
Take care, everybody. This has
connection.
been the randomly generated podcast with Parlock like an Eric.
I just hang up the call to go play this game.
All right, Eric. Your time to shine.
So I hadn't thought about Ni no Kuni, but that is one of the ones I did play, and that one's just... That looks so good.
It's all good. Did I come
But
out
I
this
guess
year?
also throwing out a mention of GTA 5, right? Like I've seen some video clips of people, not even really gameplay. They're just videos of a mountain, and as watching the sun kind of go across it, and you don't even really realize that it's coming from a game, and that kind of stuff is. I mean, they've just done a great job with environmental art. So
I think GTA some of the best water that I've ever seen.
yeah.
Like their water effects, like the way you swim and all that, it's just beautiful. But definitely that's a good pick. I don't understand. It's doesn't look realistic and it doesn't look shell shaded. Kind of, I don't understand the way that game looks. GTA has a specific art style I can't put my finger on.
I haven't seen enough of GTA 5 to actually know what it looks like.
All right, next story is oh my god, next category is best story. That was all kinds of messed up. Mine is Gone Home.
Now, are you just saying that so gens won't hurt you?
No, the Gone Home story. I think it's probably the best kind of. I shouldn't even say what it is, because I would kind of spoil it.
Don't do that. I haven't played it, so.
Okay. No, I'm playing it at the moment.
It's one of the. Well, I mean the genre. How do I explain this? It's okay. Sorry if this is a little tiny bit of a spoiler, but it's probably the best romance story, like in a video game that I've ever seen.
I would say genre. It's not a game genre. That's what genre it is.
Yeah.
I'm joking. I'm not one of those people. I'm not.
Parlock was. Till he's shown the way. Yeah, but it's a fantastic story.
Didn't that game scare you, Exotix?
There was a modifier to turn on the lights. I did that. There was this scary game.
You giant vagina.
I'm pretty.
He's scared of Gone Home, and that's not a horror game. It might have a little bit of creepy atmosphere,
but and the thunder was spooky.
There are creepy bits in Gone Home.
They try to.
I will give him that.
Have you finished Outlast yet, Exotix?
No, I didn't get past what I streamed. I got to stream for like 5 minutes.
You didn't even go in the damn window.
I did go in the window. I went. I saw a little bit of stuff. A big fat guy tried to like grab me and throw me off a balcony.
Oh, you saw Chris Walker then?
You didn't even make it to the Foreskin Twins, did you?
Oh, the Foreskin Twins. Yes.
No, I don't think I did.
I haven't even played it, but I've seen enough streams to know that. The Foreskin Twins.
All right, Fedora, best story.
BioShock Infinite.
Okay.
I love the story of BioShock Infinite. It was real interesting. That's what kept me playing.
Say Elizabeth get Parlock mad.
Comstock.
Oh man.
No, not really. Elizabeth. Elizabeth was great. It was great. Parlock's being real quiet. As BioShock Infinite, I liked the story. The gameplay was average at best. They really previous BioShock's gameplay was a lot better. They took out a lot of everything that made it interesting. The whole hacking and any of that kind of stuff is all gone in just generic shooter. And the weapons weren't very interesting.
Was too spooky for me.
Of course it was. But story-wise, I liked it. Gameplay-wise, it was average at best. That's what I have to say about BioShock Infinite.
Parlock?
BioShock Infinite and Burial at Sea.
I haven't played Burial at Sea yet. I need to.
So the whole Elizabeth thing, that is how they tell the story. The actual story that Infinite tells and Burial at Sea tells,
I feel like
it's really interesting.
Straws, Parlock.
No, I'm not. I'm serious. Like the whole idea of the whole like the Tears and Columbia and the whole Vox Populi and Comstock thing, that is really, really interesting, and I love what actually happens in the game. I just don't like how what happens is told to you. Whereas with Burial at Sea, it uses Elizabeth way, way better than what Infinite did. So I say Burial at Sea impressed me more with the story than plain old Infinite, but they're the same game essentially.
I like the 50s Elizabeth. She's rad.
Rapture Elizabeth is so cool. I like Rapture Elizabeth. I don't like Columbia Elizabeth.
Let's stop talking to Parlock. Eric.
So it's tough. So I did really enjoy Gone Home. I thought that was a really amazing story. But Stanley Parable also really, I guess it's not a story as much.
It's an experience.
But just the storytelling, like the just fantastic narrator, fantastic dialogue. So I guess it's not so much going from A to B, but just the fantastic dialogue. Very, very witty, very clever. I think that really sold it for me.
Definitely. Okay, next category is best in development game. Mine would have to be, which I can. This is mine, but I haven't played too much of it just because I'm afraid that my character will get wiped. But for what I have played, and because of the game that they worked on before,
I already
I
know the
really
answer then.
liked Starbound.
Yep.
I adored Terraria. I played that so much, and yeah, I absolutely loved it. I haven't played Starbound too much. I probably played like an hour or two, just because I don't want to get too far and just be devastated because I don't have my character anymore. Um, but yeah, I do really like. I think that's a lot better looking game than Terraria, and it plays kind of the same. And I like the whole entire going to different planets thing and finding new materials and enemies and all that. So that's gonna have to be mine.
I've been
Fedor?
holding off on buying Starbound for that reason, character wipe, and like I'm going to do a series of it, but I'm not going to jump on the bandwagon yet because what's the point when the story's not in the game yet and your characters will get wiped? All
Yeah,
these people jumping on the Starbound bandwagon on YouTube, it's like the half the game isn't there. The story is not there whatsoever. And your character's going to get wiped. Why are you even doing this? But they're doing it for views. That's what they're doing it for. So
Well, I mean, people still like the game. I mean, it's not a. I don't like the word bandwagon because if something is good, a lot of people are allowed to like it. That's not jumping on a bandwagon. But people like the game, and people don't want to wait to experience it. They want to get kind of the gist of it, and that's why they're playing before beta.
yeah, I don't know, at this point, I definitely want to play it, but I'm going to wait till story is there. You know, I'm going to wait till beta stage 3 probably before I even bother picking it up. Because it's a game I know I will probably love because I love Terraria. So, I'm
All right,
just...
what's your?
let's see. I had something in mind. Our Darker Purpose. Actually, it's kind of a tie between Our Darker Purpose and Dungeon of the Endless. It's a really...
Okay, never mind. I do know what that is.
I did a video on it a couple days ago, actually. Dungeon of the Endless. It's a mix of roguelike and tower defense, which sounds horrible, but it's goddamn brilliant.
Sorry, what'd you say? It's a roguelike what?
It's a mix of a roguelike and tower defense.
Okay.
And that's...
The art style looks Legend of Dungeon E to me. The lighting.
It kind of does with that pixel art style, just from, you know, like more of an isometric viewpoint than a side-scroller viewpoint.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really good. Even though it's really short right now, I can't wait for that game to be finished. And then Our Darker Purpose, amazing music, Tim Burton art style that I love, and the game is insanely fun. So, those are my two picks, because I
You
couldn't
need to give me
choose
a copy
one.
of Art Darker's Purpose. I haven't played it yet.
I can try to do that, because it's great, and it's now pretty much finished, so... It's just, hopefully, I don't know. I don't know exact date. I haven't asked the developers like any exact release date, but I can't imagine it'll be much longer before it's fully released. And it already got greenlit, so it will be on Steam once it releases.
All right, what about you, Parlock?
Oh, I have seen Our Darker Purpose. That looks awesome. Sorry. I saw Android Cactus.
Okay.
Also, Android Cactus is a twin-stick arena arcade shooter thing, and it's still in. I think they say it's still in pre-alpha or something, but it is still so polished, and the levels are really well designed. There's a lot of really interesting characters that completely change how you play the game. And it's got a very score attacky approach to it. So there's a lot of us who are fighting over like the top positions on leaderboards, and it is just addictive as hell. It's just trying to outdo each other and keeping up your combos and being a massive perfectionist and nailing every level is just so satisfying. Sandra Cactus is great, and the developers are really nice people.
Yes, they are. That game was a contender for me in that category, but maybe if I was actually good at it, then it would have been number one for me.
How are you not? If you ever played like Geometry Wars, you kind of got twin sticks in the bag.
I'm not great at it. It's wonderful though, and it's definitely in my top 5 in development games of the year. So
definitely.
What about
and
you, Eric?
Also,
Sorry.
sorry, and also, Sir, You're Being Hunted, but that one is still such a long way off that I don't really want to say it's amazing, because they could add stuff that makes it awful. But Sir, You're Being Hunted is the absolute tits, and you should go and buy it.
I
That
do
game
want
would
to play
make my
that.
anxiety go through the roof, I'm sure.
Dude, I love
it's
I
so
love the
good.
murderous like Victorian gentleman robots. It's wonderful.
There's a robot in it called the Squire, and he's a big robot that won't attack you until you attack him. But he goes around and he's singing bloody old English folk songs and
Oh, that's awesome.
like "What a lovely day," and it's adorable. It's
Does he
absolutely
whistle?
Adorable. Yes, I think
Oh
he
my
does.
God.
No,
Oh,
it's the
no.
poacher which whistles.
Someone has
And-
to whistle.
Yeah, the poacher whistles, and the poacher is terrifying.
Everything's probably terrible. I can't handle those kind of games.
Oh, I love it.
I can't do
is
it.
so
Man
All
up.
right, what about you, Eric?
I'd probably go for speedrunners. I was just looking through early access
Oh yeah, I
games.
forgot about that.
Speedrunners, I
And,
forgot all about that.
So did
I
I.
love
Damn it.
couch co-op or couch multiplayer games. I grew up playing them. My favorite kind of games, and it just really nails that. It's easy to pick up. It's a ton of fun. I love the grappling mechanic. Like just, it's one of those really really simple things, but it's really satisfying to swing around. And when you nail it's hard to pull off, but when you nail the perfect swing and launch you into the first place, it feels amazing. And just the pacing, the tension, everything is amazing. So I can't wait to see where that goes.
Just those games that just make you hate everybody that you're playing
Yeah.
with. Fantastic.
I did a video of that with Player Uno and Josh, and Player Uno described it in the most accurate way it could be ever described. It's like Super Meat Boy mixed with Mario Kart.
Yep.
It's perfect description of that game, and it is wonderfully fun.
Sound like you're breaking up a bit there, Fedora.
That's not
Yeah,
good.
just a little bit.
Okay, next category is best character in a video game. Mine would be, I don't know her last name. Did they say it in the game? Sam from Gone Home. Did they say the last name?
Yeah, hang on, I'm just gonna find it for you. You
Is it
can carry on.
Greenbrier?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry.
Great researching, Exotix.
I forgot.
That's character of a game I've never played, so sure. Internet? Damn it.
Hello?
You guys still there?
Okay. Exotix, is your internet being garbage?
Hello. Sorry.
Exotix?
Oh no. Oh, his mic crapped out. Go ahead, Fedora.
Jesus. That mic issue, we gotta get that sorted. Okay, best character... I might just be saying this to piss Parlock off, but Elizabeth from Bioshock Infinite. Come at me, bro.
The only thing I don't like about Elizabeth is that she knows things that she should not know, and she's used as a backstory machine.
So
That
you-
is the only thing I don't like about her. As a character, she is pretty interesting. How she's used in the game, not so much.
And I like the fact that it's a game that has AI companion that is not terrible and gets you killed and gets in your way constantly.
Yeah, I do like that.
It is useful, even
And
if
I
it
do
feels
like-
really gamey how she's useful. At least she's useful. So,
Yeah, I do like as well that she isn't an escort mission. I was worried before it came out that it would be one big escort mission,
yep.
but because she can't die in like the actual mechanics of the game, you don't worry about her. She's useful when she's useful, as opposed to you having to actually worry about her,
Exactly.
which I like.
I
I
thought
can
she was a
say
good character.
nice things.
Yep. Yeah, I can't completely disagree with you. I like the character, but the way she's used isn't the greatest. Yeah.
Yeah.
How about you, Parlock? You're up next.
Okay, so I have no idea whether anybody would have actually know who I'm talking about, but in Shadowrun Returns, there's a character called Mr. Kluwe, Kluwe, and he is a bodyguard or a bouncer at a bar, which is your home hub in the game. And if you don't know what Shadowrun is, the whole idea of it is that it's set sort of like 30 years in the future, but elves and orcs and trolls and
magic.
dwarves and that lot have all come back. Magic's returned and that sort of thing.
I term that game as sci-fantasy. That's what I call it.
Yeah, it's a mix of cyberpunk and fantasy, and it's really cool. And one of the big themes in that is that there's a lot of stereotypes about the different metahuman races, so like the dwarves and the orcs and all them, and they don't necessarily live up to those stereotypes. So one of the troll stereotypes is that they are dumb as hell, that they don't know what they're talking about, all this sort of thing. But then you've got Mr. Cluey, who's this bouncer, and you'll talk to him between missions, and you'd expect, because he's a troll, oh, he won't say much. But he goes really in depth about the whole racism thing that goes on in the game, and the whole idea that they're being stereotyped and profiled, and the effects that has on the overall world of the game. And he's also a genuinely nice character to talk to. He's the friendliest character in the entire game, and I think that's great because he's a troll. He looks intimidating as hell, but then he isn't. So he's great.
How about you, Eric?
So I'd probably also go with Sam from Gone Home, and I think it's actually interesting comparing Sam and Elizabeth, because when I hear about Elizabeth, it's like everything we know about her and everything that she tells us about the world is kind of like very explicitly stated. Like she will just describe what you're doing or what you're feeling or what these other characters are thinking. And I think what's interesting about Sam is that there's very little that you like explicitly read about her. A lot of it is just kind of mementos laying around. And I think and I guess this whole family too, like you learn so much about them from just kind of the random notes and magazines and cassette tapes that are laying around. And I think that's a much, I don't know, it just feels more, it's amazing how much you feel you know about this family from just this little bit of information. I think that's the difference between kind of good storytelling and...
You kind of fill in the gaps for everything too.
Yeah.
And kind of make it your own character. I think that's why everybody relates to it so much.
And Exotix got his shit
not
fixed.
Explicit.
Hi.
Welcome back.
Okay, so we're going to move on to our top 5 games. We'll go ahead and do my top 5, Fedora's top 5, Parlock's, and Eric, you can mix 2012 in it if you want. Or just do all Disco Dodgeball for all 5.
Yeah.
Okay, so my top 5 would be number 5, Assassin's Creed Black Flag. I haven't played much of it because I am so bad at stealth. There's a building that I have to get into, and I can't get into it because like people are like there, and it freaks me out because I have to like sneak behind and someone's looking at me. It just gets my anxiety out the roof. But it's a fun game. I really like the character. I think his name Edward Conway.
Edward Conway, yeah.
Conway, yeah. Pretty cool guy. Whoever I am
sorry.
in the real world. Mind you, I have not played any other Assassin's Creed games. So I'm just hopping in new, so I don't know what's going on. But I'm also playing as another human that just like plays on the computer as Kenway or something. I think I'm playing as a guy playing on a video game. I don't get it yet. I'll probably get it later on, but that would be my number 5. Number 4 is Lego Marvel Superheroes. I do like the Lego games, even though they're kind of, I guess, kind of focused to children. I think they're fantastic games. Like Lego Lord of the Rings was maybe one of my favorite last year, just because I love the Middle Earth, the world, and just like they used the audio from the movies, which I thought was fantastic. But Lego Marvel Superheroes, it's like that, but extremely open world. And you have like 50, maybe it's 50 to 70 characters. So it's a lot of fun if you like the whole entire like Marvel universe. Number 3 is Gone Home, just because one of the best experiences, I'd say, that I've had in 2013. Just yeah, I've never in a video game that I've ever played, I've never seen a relationship as good as the one and gun. I'm not gonna say who the relationship is with because that's a spoiler, but I've never seen a relationship as good as the one portrayed in Gone Home. It just feels real in like the parents kind of their input on the relationship and how they have to kind of do it in the dark and stuff like that. It's just a fantastic experience and kind of a refresher, I guess, for most video games. Number 2 is Pokemon X. I love the Pokemon games. I haven't played any in a while, so I kind of got back into it with Pokemon X, and I really like it. I caught this little panda man. He's the coolest guy ever. It's different. It does not feel like a Pokemon game. It kind of confuses me a little bit because it's not third person. It's 3D, and you can like go places on your left and right, and it's like boggling my head because I've played only the top down, like red and everything. But it's fantastic. It's Pokemon. I mean, Pokemon, they do some of like the collecting the best, and I love it. Number 1 has to be BioShock Infinite, just because the whole entire world, Elizabeth Booker, just everything about the game is just really good.
Except for the gameplay.
Yeah, come on, it's not too bad. Yeah, that would be my top 5. I'm not gonna get into BioShock Infinite because I'm sure we'll hear more about that later on in this top 5. Fedora.
My top 5 is not particularly ordered. They're pretty much all tie for my favorite games of the year. So like number 1 isn't like saying it's the best. So these are just in no specific order.
Stop trying to please people.
I couldn't decide, dude. They're all too good. My top 5 would be Bionic Dues by Arson Games. That game is a lot of fun. It's a roguelike with mechs. What's not to love about that? And really good music. Their title track is wonderful. You remember that music, don't you, Exotix? We had a developer on this podcast from them, actually.
No, I forget everything that we do.
I remember that menu music.
Yeah, it has vocals in it. You don't see that.
I'm Cyndi Lauper.
It sounds like an anime music. The game feels like anime inspired to me. The like opening track sounds like an anime opening theme, and it's mechs and the story of it. It kind of has an anime feel to it, in my opinion, at least.
You've got 50 days before they attack.
Yep.
And you have to prepare for it, and that's really badass.
The game's pretty awesome, though. The gameplay's great, music's great. It's a great game. It didn't really get much praise, unfortunately. I was hoping that was going to do a lot better than it did.
Has left a bad taste in people's mouths, but Bionic Dudes is pretty good. And
Ace is Wild, because it is goddamn wonderful, and you feel like a badass when you're playing that game. So, Ace is Wild, we talked about it earlier. Don't need to talk about it anymore. Disco Dodgeball made my list, not just because Eric's here, and I've only played like 15 minutes of that game, and it's just so much fun. I mean,
that if we had words. If we had a category for best multiplayer, I'm pretty sure Disco Dodgeball would be our number 1.
Oh, damn it. That's still an in-development game, though, so it shouldn't be on this list. I just thought about that.
What did you do, Fedora?
I'll allow this.
Okay, Rogue Legacy is also on my top 5.
That was my number 6. Rogue Legacy is fantastic.
It is. It is a wonderful game, even though it's real hard, and I'm terrible at it. And
it's so easy, Fedora. Come on.
Shut up. It's fun, and I love things with roguelike elements, but I do appreciate the persistent progression, which is actually a very large part of that game. Which is, sort of every run doesn't feel like, when you fail a run, doesn't feel like it was a giant waste of time. Like a lot of roguelikes tend to kind of feel like sometimes. And Scrolls, because Scrolls is wonderful. I love TCGs, and the mechanics of that game are just great. I don't play it all that much anymore, mainly because those games can drag on forever. That's what's great about like Hearthstone, is you can play a game quickly and be in and out. I've had games and Scrolls drag out for an hour. No.
Come on, Fedora.
No.
I feel like Hearthstone is sort of pulled the rug out from under Scrolls by being a hell of a lot faster, being based on an IP that people already know and love.
Unfortunately, yeah. I will say that Scrolls is better mechanically. Definitely a lot more interesting in mechanics, a lot more depth to mechanics. But
you haven't played
Scrolls,
it. You can't say that. You haven't played Hearthstone.
I've
You've only
watched
watched it.
plenty of Hearthstone videos.
Yeah, but
And it's
I think
mechanically
with the
simple,
mechanics-
which is why it was intentionally mechanically simple to appeal to the broad audience. Just like, WoW. It's the Fisher Price MMO. That's what WoW is. So, and Hearthstone is is mechanically simpler. I'm not saying that's a bad thing. It just is. But it's a hell of a lot more polished, and it's just a lot more fun interaction with the game. So, I'm not saying Hearthstone's bad in any way. I'm not saying it being simpler is a bad thing. It is. There's a lot more depth to the Scrolls mechanics, but Hearthstone has a lot more polish, and unfortunately did pull the rug out from underneath Scrolls, which kind of sucks, because I really do enjoy Scrolls. I wish I would have more time to play it. But I have a second top 5 list for early access games, because I've played more in-development games this year than I have played finished games. They always get sent to me, and which Disco Dodgeball should have been on that list, actually, but I was derping when I made the list, apparently. So my top 5 early access games are Our Darker Purpose. I've said enough about it. It's wonderful. Assault Android Cactus, because that game kicks so much ass. Magnetic by Nature by Team Triple Slash. It is a wonderful... I don't even like puzzle platformers for the most part, but it is... I don't know if you can call it a puzzle platform. I don't know if it's really puzzles, but it's kind of a puzzle.
I don't know what that is.
Yeah, because you're gone, and I had... the episode of the podcast I had Prescription Pixel on, I had Team Triple Slash, a person from Team Triple Slash on the podcast, and we
No idea what
played
that game is, though. Explain that game.
It's a robot that uses magnetic pull and push to get around, and it's wonderful, like 1950s Art Deco aesthetic. It's just a wonderful game. Music's great.
Nice.
And when you're swinging around with the magnets, when you like nail these great swings, like it's kind of like the it feels a lot like the grappling hook from Speedrunners, where if you nail a perfect grappling hook thing, you feel wonderful and amazing. This game feels like that if you nail a level perfectly and do like a great magnetic swing around a corner and up onto a ledge, and you just feel like you are badass when you do that. Game's a lot of fun. I will get a build of it to you at some point, Exotix.
Whoa, this looks dope.
Magna by Nature? Oh, it is. It was a Kickstarter that didn't get much attention. It was one of the first games I covered in my Kickstarter series, and I pushed that game really hard as well. And it was funded. It only had a $10,000 goal, so it got funded, but barely. But the developers are really cool people, and the game, even when its prototype back during the Kickstarter, was a lot of fun, and it's just gotten so much better. Because they sent me a build a couple weeks ago for the podcast, and it's great. And they will probably start pushing. I believe they will start doing a green light campaign on. Okay, quit headbutting your damn keyboard.
What?
Exotix?
Oh, I'm using my wrong mic.
I'm like,
Give
wow.
me a second, I gotta mute myself.
Okay, his keyboard got real loud and he started sounding really shitty, so he's using his laptop mic. But they're going to start pushing their Greenlight campaign on January 7th, I believe. So, and then it will be a month or two after that, around-ish. This isn't any concrete information. Don't call developers out on this, but probably within a couple months after that, the game will be released. So, it's a great game. And let's see, Dungeon of the Endless is on my early access games of the year, because that game's beautiful pixel art, extremely interesting premise that sounds horrible on paper but made a brilliant game. And then Pixel Piracy, that game's wonderful. It's like FTL done as you scared me. It's like it's like FTL done as a side scroller with pirates. You build your own pirate ship, you hire your crew, you sail around on a hunt for booty. It's a great game, and I'm very much looking forward to that game progressing.
Someone added me. I think the developer added me on Skype. He was like, "Hey, play my game." I haven't played it yet, though.
Was the person's name Alex? Alexander
Should we say
Poiske?
it on the stream?
Yeah, he's not the developer. He's the producer of it, and he also is the content manager for Gamersgate.
Alexander Poiske.
Yeah.
Poiske, yeah.
He's a really cool dude. He's the content manager for Gamersgate, and he's also producer for Pixel Piracy. He's a real great guy. So you should play it. If you send it to you, play it, dude. It's a great game. So fun.
I don't know where it is on my computer.
There's a very similar game which is in development at the moment, and I cannot for the life of me remember what it is. But it's basically FTL side-scrolling like Pixel Piracy, but it's underwater and it's all like Cthulhu and like massive sea monsters and stuff.
Parlock likes Cthulhu as much as orcs.
Find the name to that game because it sounds interesting, and I want to play it. Hear that? I want to play that.
I'm trying to find what it is.
Even if you have to find it after the podcast, that sounds interesting. I've never heard of it, and that shames me. I need to know what this game is. All right. Oh yeah, Pixel Piracy is also on Steam already. It's on Steam Early Access. So, Parlock, you're up.
Okay. So my number 5 is Shadowrun Returns, and the thing about like the Christmas sales on Steam and stuff is that I always feel really bad saying this game is one of my games of the year because I've only been playing it for like the last 3 days. I really like Shadowrun Returns. It was kickstarted, I believe, and it's a old school style RPG thing, and it's Shadowrun, so it's like all these magical creatures coming back to the world and all that, yada yada yada.
Yeah, it's a TRPG, a tactical RPG.
Yeah.
There was like a shadow.
Sorry? No? Yeah, go ahead.
There was a Shadowrun like shooter that I remember on the Xbox.
Yeah, I've got that, and it's okay. But now that I've played Returns, I know why people don't like it. Now that I've played Returns.
Well, I'm not a huge fan of turn-based, but I like the shooter because shooter.
Yeah.
Good reasoning.
It's like the combat in that in Shadowrun Returns. It's basically XCOM. It's very, very similar to XCOM. It's got the grid-based movement and the whole cover mechanics, and it feels very XCOM-y to me. But I like that it's got the RPG side of it as well. It's got the having to build your team. It's got the whole dialogue options. It's like there's a whole system where you can sort of level up etiquettes, they call it, and that basically lets you talk like a different character. So I think at the moment I've got a corporate etiquette, I've got a Shadowrunner etiquette, and with them I can like convince other people that I know what the hell I'm talking about, which is great. I love dialogue options and that sort of thing. And then all the characters are really interesting. The world is really interesting. And one of the most important things is that it's got Steam Workshop support. And people make loads of like custom campaigns for it, a bit like the modules in Old Neverwinter Nights, which I can't wait to get started on because that seems to really extend the longevity of the game. My number 4 is Eldritch, which was a procedural sim roguelike game. So it borrowed a lot from like Thief and from BioShock and from Deus Ex.
Damn it, I forgot about that game. I should have had that on my list somewhere.
Yeah, David Pittman from Monarchy, yeah.
David Pittman is a total babe. And, he is. He gave me so many keys for it when I did my 24-hour stream. And it's like, it's all, Cthulhu and old gods and that sort of thing.
Lovecraftian.
Yeah. And I really like that because a lot of other first-person roguelikes have gone the Doom way. They've gone like Paranormal Activity. They've gone Tower of Guns, where you blast your way through everything. There's lots of enemies. Whereas Eldritch went the complete opposite way, and it's very heavily based on planning and using your environment and using what you've got and your abilities and that sort of thing.
Those Weeping Angel statues are horrifying.
Oh.
Eldritch is the scariest game I've ever played in my life.
Scarier than Outlast, 10 out of 10.
Way scarier than Outlast.
I didn't find it scary. It's definitely creepy, and like those worms, the first time you encounter one of them.
Dora, but I am the biggest wimp, and Eldritch is terrifying.
Those worms, though, the first time you encounter one, it does that scream that I peed myself.
Care for the worms. The worms weren't bad, but that statue that looks like a crocodile and was.
Like, they move when you're not looking.
God.
Yeah, there's terrifying.
I can't deal with it.
Eldritch is fantastic. My number 3 is Guacamelee. And again, this is another game that I only played recently because of the Christmas sale. And the combat is great. The level design is great. The art style is great. The humor is It's a bit hit and miss because it uses a lot of internet meme stuff, which I'm not a big fan of. But then you've got things like the goat fly, which is awesome.
The what?
The boss fights, the goat fly, one of the moves is called a goat fly, which is awesome.
I don't know what that is. What are you talking about?
It's the move where you fly across the screen. You've played Guacamelee.
I didn't know what the name was. Is it just called the goat fly because the goat gives you all your powers?
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's brilliant. And like the boss fights are really well designed. The characters are really well designed. Everything about that game is perfectly designed. And I don't usually like Metroidvanias because of how very quickly I get lost in them and how confused I get.
I know everything.
Yeah.
I can tell you
Exactly.
exactly where everything is in that game.
Yeah, and it's like Guacamelee completely avoids that. It's like it makes sense where you go, and if you don't know where you go, it makes sense on how to find out where you go.
Yeah, everything is kind of like in a central.
Yeah, it goes in a circle.
Yeah, there's like one city, and you can almost get to everywhere from that city, be it going up, down, left, or right.
Yeah. Guacamelee is super good.
Really good.
Number 2 is State of Decay, which was a zombie. It was a zombie game that came out on Xbox, and then it came out on PC, like very very quickly. And sorry, I've completely lost my train. Oh yeah. The reason I really, really like State of Decay over, stuff like Left 4 Dead or Dead Island or Resident Evil or stuff like that is because it does the whole survival thing and the whole having your own group of survivors way better than anything else. Because one of the major mechanics in State of Decay is that your character can die. He can just flat out die and he will not come back, and you'll play as a different survivor in your group. And you'll lose all your stats and your items and that sort of thing. But at the same time, you've got a story that you have to go through, and you've got the whole having to get food and medicine and that sort of thing, as well as keeping your morale up, as well as the fact that you're just being constantly bombarded by zombies. It's buggy as hell. It is very, very buggy, and there's a lot of jankiness with it. But I think what they do so well. They do it incredibly well. They get the atmosphere perfect for the whole having a band of survivors, that it completely makes up for that.
That's a game that really screams for multiplayer.
I just realized what time it was, and this is the whole entire podcast. Whoa.
Now
I think
we can make it longer because we gotta play some Disco Dodgeball.
Yeah.
Yes. I think on the one hand, it would be good to have multiplayer because, multiplayer is always good. But I think if you went too far with that, it would end up yet again like DayZ or the War Z.
DayZ. British
DayZ,
people.
whatever you want to call it, and shut up. It just
HD.
becomes a deathmatch. And I don't want that. I like the whole survival aspect of it.
Does State of Decay make you care about the characters?
Yes.
Okay.
It's like I had this one character because I managed to get the main character killed very early on because I was a doofus, and I decided to run into a massive horde of zombies and got ripped to shreds. And then I played as his friend after that, and I was playing as his friend for a good 5 hours. And I'd got all his stats up really high. He was a total badass, had all really cool guns and all that. And then he got killed, and I had to play as someone who was a lot weaker. And because of that, I thought, right, I have to go to his body, I have to get his equipment, I have to make sure that there's no zombies around there. Just because I was so attached to the character that I'd just been playing as. And it does a lot of that sort of thing.
Uh-huh.
It's really interesting.
I heard that, I haven't played it, it's a 3DS game. I heard that Fire Emblem Awakening did a really good thing where it's like not a roguelike, but it's permadeath for all the characters. But they give each character like a voice actor and personality and everything to make you really care about them, and then they can just die.
Yeah, like, I like the idea in games that your character can just die and you're done with that character.
Mhm.
And my number one is BioShock Infinite.
You are
What?
you give me
Yep.
mixed signals, my friend.
Right. So, like I said, it was my biggest disappointment of the year because it had a lot of the really cool stuff taken out. And I don't like how Elizabeth was used, despite liking her as a character. But the world they made, the whole Columbia, Comstock,
Yeah.
Vox Populi, that is amazing. I think design what like the whole design of Columbia and the whole idea of like Vox Populi and Comstock beats the shit out of Rapture. And I'm a big fan of Rapture. I like BioShock 1. And it's like I think the combat works better than the original BioShock. Doesn't work as well as BioShock 2, but BioShock 2 is generally a kind of game altogether. But the combat is way better than BioShock 1 in my opinion. The general story is fantastic. The characters are fantastic. A lot of the locations are fantastic. It's a great game. It's just got those few little things which just knock it off of being perfect, and that's what pushes it into being disappointing and my game of the year at the same time. So,
You are a conundrum wrapped in a riddle, my friend.
wrapped in an enigma.
Plathered in an enigma, yes. Whatever, that word.
All right, Eric, you got anything for your top 5?
Sure. Just one quick note on Fire Emblem. I do love the permadeath aspect, but what I find happens is it's so powerful that it kind of negates itself, because then when someone dies, then for me, I just like restart from an earlier point.
Oh, do
And
you?
so you don't actually have
Oh, I
permadeath.
don't like
It's
that.
just
Come
like,
on.
oh, I don't,
You're playing
Save
it wrong,
scumming.
dude. Come on. Playing
well, I
it wrong.
can, right? Like I have to be, perfectionist, and completionist. Anyways, so some of these are gonna be 2012, but
Yeah, fine. That's fine.
any of you guys heard of Desktop Dungeons?
Yes, really good.
Yep. So I heard that. Also, a bunch of developers were talking about that. It's kind of built for 5 minute. It's like a top-down RPG, but it actually plays more like a puzzle. You're kind of in this one square dungeon, and you have to attack your enemies in different order and level up in a certain order and use power-ups. And yeah, it's just there's a lot of time just kind of thinking and trying to figure out your way through. It's just a really nice blend of genres. And, like I said, it's kind of designed for 20-minute play sessions, but inevitably I wind up playing it for 4 hours at a time. But just very, very well done. I like the design of it. Number 4 is Hotline Miami. That was 2012, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It was one of those things that when I was playing it, I was screaming at the game, and I would rage quit. And then 5 minutes later, I would start it back up again. I couldn't get enough of it. And there were some things about it where I'm like, if only they had changed a couple things. Like I hate being kind of sniped from across the room like an enemy you can't even see. Some things were very, very frustrating. But overall, the quickness of everything and the way you had to kind of just plan ahead and then execute and then improvise was a really, really nice. It kind of felt like
you never got it right your first run. You kept doing runs until you got it mapped in your head exactly what to do.
And pretty much something would go wrong, and then you'd freak out and then find your way through. And I think those moments of scraping by feel very satisfying.
Plus that music.
Great soundtrack.
Fantastic soundtrack.
I love.
That game's almost like a puzzle game when you stop and think about it.
I was about to say that.
That's kind of my gold standard for soundtrack. Like I want to compile something that's approaching that, because it's just, again, perfect fit for the game. Amazing stuff. Number 3 is Towerfall.
Didn't get the chance to try that.
But, it's so good.
So you own an
another
Ouya,
kind of
is what you're saying.
I've played it on. I think it was Ouya, but it's also out on PC, and then you can kind of just hook it up to your TV.
Wait, is it out on PC?
It's not out yet. It's coming to PC.
Yeah.
Is that right? What am I thinking of? Maybe I have someone had an early copy or something. But
using
I
your
think we also
dev
did play
to
on the
your
Ouya.
advantage.
But you know what we did? We played on the Ouya, but I think we used PlayStation controllers.
Mm-hmm.
But
We're not judging Ouya.
You're trying
Yeah.
to dodge admitting to
I am.
owning a Ouya is what you're doing.
um, it's an amazing game. Again, I love couch co-op. It's that perfect. Oh man, so this is gonna have to tie with Samurai Gun. I loved Samurai Gun. I got to play that at a conference.
I've seen them both. I like the look of I think I like the look of Towerfall. One thing I don't like about Samurai Gun is when you die, like shows that like a line with only you in it.
Right.
And it like blocks out everything else. I don't like that.
Right. It kind of blocks you from like if you were doing something, you were interrupted.
Yeah, and it
but
really
that
hurts my eyes.
Yeah.
It's like the brightness shifts so much.
I personally love it because then that kill feels amazing. Just this kind of highlight.
I would
reel
understand
moment.
that being the last kill.
Yeah.
But it's every time.
So basically, all these like the ones Disco Dodgeball have this too, like the one-hit kill thing. I think it just makes everything way more intense and rewarding than like just trying to like kill someone until their shield is gone. You know, just have to shoot a bunch of bullets at them. When I played GoldenEye 64, we would always play License to Kill, so that's one hit, one kill. We'd never play with body armor because it just, I don't know, it makes everything less meaningful. So the combination of Towerfall and Samurai Gun have this really, really great.
It's really devastating when you die.
Yeah,
or when you play a lot more tactically, I guess.
Exactly, yeah, and it's fast, and so those are both great. The other two, these are just kind of going by raw playtime. So I figured if I played these for 50 hours, 100 hours, then I probably liked them. So then that would be Far Cry 3, which I kind of talked about, and you know, I didn't even really care about the missions. I didn't care about the story. I just loved going into bases and, you know, sneaking around and finding the right angles and then picking people off one by one with a bow. That's really all I did in the game, but it's so good. And then Skyrim is going to be my number one.
Christ.
Oh,
Okay.
that would be.
Your microphone died.
Yeah.
I'm here.
Your microphone exploded.
Oh God. I think
Oh,
I
I'm
peed
sorry.
a little.
Am I okay?
Jesus
Am I back?
Christ! Yes, you're back.
Happened to Rez. I said Skyrim 2, like I just like sent a curse down on everyone.
Oh God, that scared me so hard.
Okay, so we're good. Yeah, so Skyrim, it's the game I played the most last year. Came out late 2012, so it's kind of on the border.
Skyrim came out in 2011.
2011? That's
Yeah.
it?
Yup.
Uh-huh.
How about that? Well, I still played it a lot last year. I think that's
Yeah, fuck it, wow.
it's the game of the year of 2013. Again, I would play as the class that would just sneak around and backstab people. I'm not a mean person, but I love doing that in video games.
Oh, you're so mean.
I love the whole like stealth element, yeah, I would just kind of max out the stealth. So basically, if I was crouching, I could be standing in front of someone and they wouldn't see me. And I would do the whole the Dark Brotherhood quests, all that. That was my favorite. So, what I liked about that particularly is I hadn't discovered the Dark Brotherhood for a very long time. I think in Oblivion, and then it really was like this entirely secret system going on underneath everything. And then all these places that you thought were kind of just nondescript shacks turned out to be very critical pieces of this Brotherhood. So I think they really sold the whole like sneaking around thing very well. So, you know, I'd say just by raw playtime, I know it's not even close to 2013, but, you know, I get to, it's my list. I get to choose whatever I want. So
I have whoa, we
Came out
laid
this
down
year.
the law over here. I have a problem playing games like that and Saints Row and like very, very open world games. Just because like my gamer ADD, I end up just like walking around the world and not doing anything.
it is overwhelming when you have all these missions. And I think that's why, particularly with, you know, with the Dark Brotherhood, it's much more linear. So it's
Yeah.
kind of a good mix of the two.
I did the Companions, I think it's called, and that was pretty fun.
Yeah.
Was that in the DLC?
No, that was in
No, that was the one in Whiterun.
That's like to the right of that fountain, and the
I don't think I ever got into that one.
It's fun. They have cool
You know why? Because I didn't want my character to be a werewolf.
spoilers.
It just wasn't. Sorry. Well, that's
What is
pretty
a 2-year-old game? Wow.
yeah, there's a limitation
No,
on that.
apparently a barely 1 year old game.
Yeah. But yeah, so I chose not to do that because I didn't want to mess with that part. But
Mhm.
yeah, that was a good game.
All right, we ready for some Disco Dodgeball then?
You're ready for some Disco Dodgeball then.
I'm hella ready for some
That took a hell of a long time.
Yeah,
Lot of
it's a
games.
good thing we didn't do anything else beside that.
We have 13 minutes.
And we barely mentioned Bioshock Infinite.
Every 2 minutes. We barely mention it every 2 minutes.
So I'll
50% of the
start
time,
off.
we mentioned it 100% of the time.
Are
Okay.
we gonna stream Dodgeball or just
Yep.
talk about it? Like,
Yep,
Well,
it's on the stream.
okay. All right. So I'm gonna create a match. I'm gonna do score battle.
I'm afraid to like let go of my mic because I'm afraid that everybody will die. So I might have to like somehow play this with one hand.
Get some.
Okay, so you're the easy
Get
target.
some.
Oh God, please
Get
don't.
some.
Mike, good? Good? Hello?
Yes.
Yep, fine.
Okay.
Quick, everyone at death.
Trying to turn the volume down a little bit here on the music.
All right, tell us how to get in with you.
Okay. It's So we got an unlisted room. Should I say it over chat or just like text it to you guys or?
Yeah, put it.
I guess they'll be able to see it in the screen anyways.
Yeah, wait until we join the door, maybe.
That doesn't
Yeah.
matter. I think a lot of the people in the chat have played before.
Yeah.
So if they want to
Okay.
jump in, that might be fun.
Okay, people in the chat, if we pause, like if all of three of us pause, that's probably because we're looking at something. So don't kill us if we just all pause. But yeah, everybody can join.
Okay, so I typed it into Skype, and then I'll just make sure you guys are in, and then I'll put it up in the main chat.
Yeah. The
Severus Solon, he can't come in.
Solon's really good.
That's why he's too damn good.
He's like 360 and all that to me the other day.
All right.
I got one of
Parlock
you,
did it.
two of
I did
you,
it.
and are all three of you gonna join in?
Yeah, Fedora's coming in.
I'm in.
Fedora's a little.
Oh, I'm trying to figure out what team I'm going to be on here.
I am on red, so if you wanna,
Not on
I'm-
red.
am I not on? I don't know what I am.
You're on blue. I'm trying to kill you and missing horribly.
Damn it. I see how
No,
it is,
I'm red as
Exotix.
well.
You chose the team with the developer.
I didn't. He wasn't joined on a team yet. Everybody was bots, said.
Scumlord.
By the way, we had when me and Fedora were
sorry.
playing a couple hours ago.
Ah, damn it.
Eric was a bot. Thought it was you.
Yeah, we saw a bot in our game earlier pop in with Eric, and we're like, huh, I wonder if that's Eric.
So all the bots are named after other game developers that I work nearby.
Oh, okay.
So Achiro and Rohit, they work at Dojabon.
Okay.
Oh,
So-
really?
They've made a Drunken Robot Pornography, the base jumping game they
1,
worked
2,
on
3,
Monster Love
cricket.
You. And then there's Mike Kasperzak, who kind of runs Ludum.
Oh, Jesus, how'd you end up behind me?
Trying to think, because all the bots, there's already a room full of people, so there's no bots left in this. But I don't know. That's kind of the story behind that. Is they're all kind of coworkers. I guess I should probably take Eric out at this point because it seems a little strange to have
Damn
me
it.
in there. But
Yeah. It's
How have I not died?
So what game mode are we playing right now? I like.
Is this you die?
this is score battle, and I guess I might as well mention for anyone that hasn't used Disco Dodgeball before.
Solon, fuck you.
You get points in this mode for kind of trick shots. So anytime you're in midair
Solon's specialty.
and you hit someone before you land, or if you do a 360 midair, or you do a ricochet,
I can't even
you
hit
catch a
people,
ball, like-
period.
so you got to do that first. So a regular kill's worth just 50, but any of these like special kills can be worth 200, 250. Some are worth 500. So it really it's really to your advantage to try and find a way to get the special kills.
I really like those special kills in this game. When you nail them, it makes you feel like a complete badass.
Yeah, yeah, and particularly the ones that are really hard to pull off. Some of them I've only pulled off once in training mode. Like I've never actually done it in a game.
Are you any good at your own game?
Well, he's dominating me, so.
I'm good. I think in score battle, I know which tricks shots are gonna do the most damage, but I still find myself.
Well, you probably know exactly how long to leave.
I'm forgetting what team I'm on.
You're on red.
I noticed. I was throwing it at Reds. I'm not sure why.
Also, to be fair, in this round, the blue had a big head start because of
Well, I mean, I'm on blue, so
Yeah.
it's inevitable. It's gonna
Unfair.
Yes, I got a kill on you, but it wasn't
So-
impressive at all.
Yeah, you gotta. So basically, just anytime you see a ramp, just launch yourself off it. You know, hold down the jump button, get a
Even
nice,
without a ball.
get a bunch of air, and
So-
then anything you do in the air is gonna be worth more points.
So give the people that are watching that don't know what this is the elevator pitch of what Robot Roller Derby Disco Dodgeball
Yep.
is.
So it's a team-based multiplayer FPS, and you're racing around this kind of skate park dance club in robots, and you're throwing dodgeballs at each other. And it was kind of inspired by, so my love of projectile combat in games. Like I said in Far Cry 3 and Skyrim, like I'm always using the bow. I love throwing knives. I love any of that stuff. It's just
Good
because
man.
it's more fun when you hit someone. And like emptying a whole clip into someone and then watching them just kind of run away is just not satisfying at all.
Yeah, I always use like a sniper or a bow
Yeah.
in every game
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
possible.
So it's like the moments, like you're only going to get 5 kills per match, but they're going to feel amazing. And I think that's kind of the key.
Oh, speak for
jeez.
yourself. 20 kills.
Yeah.
0 deaths, man.
Is trying to create the most moments of that feel the best, as opposed to kind of this just baseline of
Eat it, Solon.
running and shooting.
Even though it was just a normal kill. That's all I can get is normal kills.
You got a question in chat. Have you ever played Tribes Ascend? That actually seems like a game that you would like.
So this is like my horrible confession: is I have not, and I know I should because I think I would love that game. Like
What
it
is that? What is
like
that game? Oh,
What
I
is
think
it?
it's another Tribes game or something. There's a game where you kind of shoot just like red balls at each other, and that's all you do.
Is it Ricochet?
No,
Disco Dodgeball.
yes. I'll find it out for you. I forget. Oh man, it was like early access, and it was really good. I'll find it. I'll look it up after this podcast. That is going to drive me crazy.
Let's switch to that crazy basketball mode.
Okay.
Well, I haven't seen it
All
yet.
right, gonna change the hoops. I'm gonna keep this level though because I like that one.
This level has many pillars.
Yeah.
What? I've never seen this before.
You've never played this
map-
mode?
This mode.
What do I
No.
do? Do I just hit the X?
So
You have to
wanna
hit it from
the
behind.
other side of the X.
Oh, okay. I just threw it dead at the X.
So you get a point each time you throw the ball through the hoop. And what I like about this is it actually does involve some kind of teamwork. So
Yes.
you might actually want to go into
Yes.
offensive and defensive modes.
Yes, some people on our team stay behind and stop them from getting hoops.
I know exactly what Solon's trying to do. I keep throwing the ball at him, and he keeps. There we go.
I already got 2 points without dying. Come on, guys, do better.
Quick draw.
Oh. I was paying attention to the hoop, not the other people I
Yep,
should kill.
Exactly. So the mode I'm working on next is, I'm calling it Demolition Derby. And it's basically a racing mode. So I scattered kind of a checkpoint course around each arena. And then you get points for racing through checkpoints. Basically,
Oh.
I want more modes that feel where you actually have to use kind of teamwork. Deathmatch is fun and it's crazy, but I think there's a lot to this game when you kind of partner with people and work together or take on certain roles. So
See,
with checkpoint race, you can have one person that's kind of the race leader and everyone else just plays defense. They're kind of blockers.
Oh my god, I don't even know how many points I've scored. I'm so good at this. Apparently, I feel like I've gotten like half my team score. No one's even like, I keep going in and no one's even seeing me.
That's because I guess the other team's not playing much defense on you then.
Yeah, they're not. I just go in, get a point, run away, go in, get a point, run away. I haven't died yet.
I like other maps of this game mode where you can do cool bounce it off the wall and back into
Yeah.
it.
A lot of people like that ricochet thing.
Do you get a score or Parlock got me? Do you get like a leaderboard after you finish this or? after you got
Yeah,
one?
if you hit tab, you can look at the scoreboard, and that is
Yes.
scored, not kills.
8. Feel good about myself.
So yeah, you are leading with the scores. My
Finally good
favorite
at
part of
something.
this is when you throw the ball through a hoop and then kill someone. in that
Clear on
same
the other
shot.
side,
Okay.
yeah.
Oh, that would be way too cool.
So I haven't played
Oh.
Tribes, but yeah, it is everything that I love about games. And I think it'd be a lot of fun. So that's on my list, and it's free, right? So
Yeah.
Yeah, it's free to play. It is really high speed.
yeah.
It's okay. I've never played a game with this many people. It's just insanity.
Yeah.
Oh, it is fun. I've only died once. I'm a ghost.
Yeah, there's something about playing against people that's I don't know, it's way more fun because
Ah,
then it's
damn
more
it.
satisfying when you hit someone because you know that someone else somewhere else in the world is like swearing at you.
Lost.
That was a pretty close game, though.
Yeah, 12 goals, nice.
I'm pretty good at video games, man.
Exotix OP, please nerf.
Here, I'm gonna change to arena. So this one you can do a lot of ricochet shots.
Oh god, I can't run away. I can't evade that well in this one.
And there's a lot more death in this one. There's not stuff to hide behind.
Yeah.
Oh god, I don't feel like I'm gonna do as well.
Yeah, and this way it's actually easier to do defense because you're right next to the enemy. So it's really just a matter of who you're paying attention
Yeah,
to.
it feels like I can actually maybe get to that goal and a kill in one shot
Yeah.
on this one.
Yeah, like bounce it off the ceiling.
Okay, defense blue, what is happening? We are getting dominated.
Here, I'll do some defense.
Oh, you want me?
Taste.
So the other kind of surprise for me, so I built elimination mode.
There we go.
Basically, so that's you get you don't use
I got a score and a kill on the same throw. That's always fun.
So I need to actually count that separately because it doesn't tell you that you did that, but obviously,
I saw my name pop up on a dead person. Yeah. And I got double kill. That's how I realized it.
Score.
Nice.
So it does say double kill if you had just killed somebody.
Let's see.
Mid.
Ah,
This is a lot of fun, but what is happening with red?
me.
So I built
I'm God.
elimination mode, and it wasn't that much fun, but I kept it in because everyone wanted classic dodgeball. But it's against people. It's now my favorite mode.
Yeah.
So there's just something, the intensity of it really takes off when you know there's.
Yeah, when you have like even,
Dodge this.
I think it's better with like a group of friends in a Skype call or something like that.
Oh yeah.
Just getting the competitive and just you kind of love to beat your friends in video games.
Yeah. And we've actually we ran a pretty large tournament.
Long
Well,
distance.
relatively large. There was like 20, 30 people in it. Large for a game that usually has 5
Match 1.
concurrent players.
Yeah.
Destroyed you. That's all I'm gonna say.
What happened? Who's Alex?
Alex is a bot.
Oh man.
The bots aren't easy too, but
How do you? I always wonder, how do you program bots in games like these? Like, how do you like make them not always get hit? I don't
so
get that.
there's a couple components. So the one component is pathfinding,
Okay.
and that part. What's nice, there's a lot of out-of-the-box stuff I can use, but unfortunately, that doesn't actually cover like ledges and ramps and really tight corners. It works great if you're using kind of a standard, walking around first-person movement, but when you have momentum, suddenly going up a ramp and taking sharp corners is actually hard to do. So I had to program in little kind of triggers that tell them which ramps to go up fast, which ones to go up slowly.
Gens.
So there's the general getting around, but then there's also the target finding, right? So they have to pick an enemy,
What was
or is
that?
the biggest threat,
I don't know.
and then they also have to do the leading calculation.
Can
So
people
they
steal
look at
balls
your-
out of your hand?
Um,
I just I had a ball and someone just came up behind me and stole it.
So I'll talk about that later. There's
Okay.
definitely some funny networking stuff happening with the dodgeballs.
Oh, okay.
I had to do some
No.
sneaky networking stuff.
Yeah, this
So
would
they
be hard
your
to
speed,
do network
and
for.
they look at their distance and they figure out how hard they're throwing the ball,
Dodge this.
and they calculate where you're gonna be by the time the ball reaches there. And so the hard bots can pretty much hit you moving in a straight line no matter what you're doing.
Why is the whole blue team trying to kill me?
And the
Target somebody else.
But the easy bots, I had to build in kind of a inaccuracy, but in a smart way, right? So if you're standing still, they'll be able to hit you, and the more you move, the more inaccuracy they have. So,
Yeah.
and then you get into game modes like hoops, and now you also need to decide: should I hit an enemy or should I throw it out the hoop?
Yeah, like
So that's another level. Like
this is extremely impressive the way that you program. So the bot that can get the most scores, that's impressive.
Yeah. I guess they do have the accuracy advantage, but still, there's definitely some kind of decision making going on. And you know, it's not that crazy. It's kind of like, is there an enemy with a ball that is?
Well, I mean, like them not doing absolutely stupid things and keep getting like stuck on like pillars or stuff like that.
Yeah.
I think that's a really impressive feat that you've accomplished.
Well, thank you. There's still kinks there. They're just not showing up all the places. But there's a couple of funny things they do. But the other good thing about the kind of being a simple game is that I don't need to build too much complex into it. So, you know, each game mode does need kind of an AI tweak, but it's usually just like a day or two of work. It's not like a week.
I really need to learn to catch balls in this game.
Yeah, that's really helpful. I would say don't move backwards if you're trying to catch a ball.
Okay.
And the reason for that is when you hit someone with a ball, it checks with them first to see if they've caught it. So there's like a bit of a delay you can tell after you hit someone.
Okay.
Asking, did I hit you?
I'm suddenly pro at this game. Like I just got ultra kill.
It's very streaky. So the thing is, if you're moving back, you're gonna look closer to the enemy from their perspective than they are from yours because of the built-in delay. I don't know if that makes any sense. So they're gonna think they hit you locally, but you won't. The ball won't be very close to you in your own screen, so you won't actually have a chance to catch it if you're moving backwards. That only happens if you're not the host. So if you're just doing like single player against bots, then backing up does help. It gives you a lot of time, but to do the lag, you kind of want to basically just stand still and concentrate on catching the ball.
Oh, this is so fun.
This game mode's wonderful.
Yeah, I like this a lot.
One of the things I really like about this game is the fact that everything collides with everything else. So it's like if everyone's rushing for a ball in the middle, you're just going to bounce straight off each other, and no one's going to get it. And I find that hilarious.
Whoa, okay.
I've actually like muscled someone off a ledge. Like I was in hoops and they were on a ledge and taking a shot, and I just rammed into them, and then they missed the shot because they had fallen down. I think that kind of physicality adds a really cool element to the whole game.
I'm not sure what happened there, but I tried to make a hoop. It bounced off the front. It gave me the shot, but it bounced off the front, and I caught it, and I got another shot in.
So that is the downside of the physics. They work great for large, slow-moving objects, and for a dodgeball that's spherical, that's moving fast. There's definitely some physics glitch stuff that you'll see. Sometimes they get stuck in a wall. Sometimes the balls will miss each other, and then sometimes like that, like it thinks it actually crossed the hoop barrier, but then the other part of the physics said like, nope, it actually bounced off, but it's too late for that. So
and
a lot of times I have to just build in kind of fail-safes to prevent that.
Mind everybody that this game is still in development and it's pretty polished. I mean, what did I do to you, Parlock?
I have no idea.
I did not mean to hit anybody. I missed the targets and I got someone. It's pretty polished. I've never really found any game-breaking bugs at all.
I like that custom thing on the back of Solon, which was something that Eric did. It was really cool and did for the tournament Luca, as we all call him, did is the teams had custom backplates. Well, that's a giant target on the back of Solon. Like, seriously, aim for that.
I want to actually put like a target on my back. It's like a bullseye.
I'll do that. I basically just link it to your name. Eventually, I want to add a whole bunch of bot customizations.
That would be really cool.
Yeah, even like it's like some kind of like clan type thing, or like a group of friends. And to do like mini tournaments against each other, some kind of tournament mode or something like that.
Yep.
Like,
I definitely want to add kind of more like team or clan kind of support, so you can have like a team uniform, maybe have team stats, and then a tournament mode that kind of maybe you can log in as a team, and then you all get matched with another team. So that's obviously gonna have to wait till there's more players.
Oh yeah, that would be.
Idea.
I love that idea. So having like a certain amount of people, having kind of like a matchmaking system where you have a certain amount of people and it matches you with that same amount of people as a team. That would be incredible.
And run some tournaments. That would be wonderful.
Yep. Yeah, I'm gonna add some new kind of modes. that more directly support.
Do you plan?
Someone-
Someone
kind of
throw me a ball. Someone throw me
Yeah.
a ball. Well, someone
Like keep
might
track
throw-
of match
well,
victories.
Or
You know,
thanks,
right
Parlock.
now it just sets from 0, but ideally if you're doing like 2 out of 3 or 3 out of 5, you want to keep track of that.
Parlock, what
server.
are you doing?
Ricochet.
Yeah. Do you plan on adding like a built-in framework for tournaments?
Yeah, exactly.
That'd be awesome.
I'm gonna switch to Super Ball mode for a bit.
Okay, what's that?
Oh, so this is one of the newer ones. So there's a glowing yellow Super Ball that I just picked up.
Oh
And
God,
you
yeah.
get points for every second that you hold on to it. The thing is, you can't sprint when you're holding it.
I always forget there's a
Oh, so
sprint.
it's like capture the flag type
It's
thing. right?
it's kill the carrier.
So it's like capture the flag mixed with like King of the Hill.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And it just gets particularly when so it's first to 100 in this, and when the clock starts ticking down to 100, it gets really, really frantic, and a lot of times you have one shot to save the game. It's just like very stressful in a good way.
Would
and
you
I
hold
love that.
bloody
This is
still?
incredibly similar to the capture the flag mode in Tribes Ascend, because the idea of that is that you get the flag and then you have to sort of carry it around and get more points.
And you
while
just
holding the
hang
flag.
on to it or something?
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
this basically.
Nobody's hit me though, so I might go all 100 just in this.
You know the map, so that's why.
Yeah.
We'll go with that.
What's also cool is you can hit people with a Super Ball. It's just like,
A bad idea.
is it worth the risk?
Oh, I want to see like tournament play so good that they play like lacrosse or something where they just oh do I have it? Is it me?
Yep, you got it now.
Oh God, I have it charged up. I don't want to do that.
So you can throw it up against a wall and re-catch it.
Okay, let me do that.
So this is a game mode.
God.
Oh, you just got. I saved it
Oh
back.
damn you! It's mine
this is
now.
a game mode that involves kind of teamwork because when your teammate has the ball, now you have to play defense. So you kind of hang around them. You need to form a human shield.
I want to see tournament play that's so good that they play it. It's like or not lacrosse, rugby, where they had to the person that has the ball when they're about to get killed, they throw it to a teammate, and the teammate runs
Yeah.
and throws it to someone else. That would be so cool.
Yeah. So in this mode, like you can pass the ball to other people.
Damn
and
it.
I made it easier to catch a friendly thrown ball. But a lot of people don't do it. They just kind of wait until they're
Yeah.
dead.
I'm hoping that people will start doing that though. That would
Yeah.
be just amazing.
Yeah.
Just to watch even. It'd be
So
like you made your own sport.
Exactly. And I want to add in more modes that emphasize that kind of stuff. So something like some people suggested like Ultimate Frisbee mode,
Match
so
Okay.
that you
So when
can't
you have to
actually move
move.
when you're like holding a ball. So maybe like hoops, but there's only 2 balls.
Oh, that would be
and-
so fun.
And so that means you have to pass a
Oh
lot,
my God,
switching maps.
that would be fantastic for tournament.
Yeah. So I definitely, there's like 15 different game modes I want to add, and they all sound like a ton of fun. And fortunately, it's not too hard to add them. So,
A competitive breakout mode would be cool, where you have to sort of break down the other team's defenses with the balls.
oh, that's so you have like a little wall or something.
Like one team
Yeah.
has a wall and the others have to. Well, I mean, so are they just waiting to get hits at?
No, so
Well,
it's like both teams have a wall which you have to break down.
And how would
you
you
have to?
hit it? If
You throw the ball
if
at
you're
it.
trapped on a wall.
You wouldn't be trapped in it.
Oh, okay. So it's just like a tower type thing. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Home base. Okay.
Right, like each team has a base, and there's
Okay.
like
Yeah.
25 blocks in it. And
That'd be really
whoever
interesting.
destroys all the other team's blocks first.
That would
wins.
actually be really cool.
Another one I want to add is kind of a boss mode. So this would be 1 versus 5, and one player has 5 lives, and everyone else has 1 life.
Nice.
And so one player gets to try to take on 5 people, because that does happen in elimination mode, and I love when that happens. So it's kind of like
you
stock
just-
in Smash Brothers.
Yeah, you just feel so good if you can pull that off.
Yeah.
As a person in elimination mode.
Okay, so this match is closer. Go.
I was doing so well.
Damn it, Solid.
It's so fun. This has to be my favorite multiplayer game this year.
Cool, thank you. Yeah, it's just it's simple, but the core projectile combat I think is just
Well,
solid.
that again, like I'm like you. That's what I like in video games.
Yeah,
I like timing my shots, and when I get it, it feels special.
yeah.
It feels like I accomplished something.
and I think it like taps into some kind of like caveman hunter type thing. Like
Flying squirrel.
there's just something fun about throwing something at something else. And if you look at any sport, that's basically all it is. It's kind of just testing your hand-eye coordination. And yeah, I think there's just something really primal about it. And like this dodgeball is just like the perfect pure expression of throwing X at Y.
It is. It's the perfect game involving balls.
Yeah.
It beats Bone Town. Just kidding.
So one thing eventually I want to do is, a lot of people ask for kind of mod support. I'd like to do something a little in the middle where, well, definitely an arena builder, right? So people can create their own skate parks. But also, I want to make it so that you can kind of adjust the parameters however you want. So you can say, okay, it has a Super Ball and hoops, but a Super Ball is worth this many points, and the Super Ball doesn't kill the enemy, and basically, and
So it's like a
low
custom
gravity.
game mode type thing.
Sorry?
So it's like a custom game mode.
Yeah, exactly.
system.
So basically have 50 different parameters and allow people to just kind of create their own modes. And I think that would kind of go a long way
Double
towards
kill.
creating infinite replayability, and people might come up with modes that I never would have thought of.
Yeah, a mode that's kind of like almost like a derby, not derby, kind of like almost like a race, but not really, where you're like following a track and you have
Yep.
to throw it into multiple hoops, and you can only pass that one track if you throw it into the hoop correctly and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Stuff like that kind of race, like a 2v2 race, would be kind of cool in this game, I think.
So the next mode that it's coming in the next version, that's Demolition Derby, and so that's kind of a race. Uh-oh.
Oh, is
10
it?
seconds left.
Oh god. Oh wait, I'm going
I just
insane.
missed
I'm
it.
killing everybody.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Okay, this game is goddamn wonderful. I can be in a room with a bunch of people and slap me with balls in my face, and I don't even have to be drunk for it.
Oh, it's
Whoa,
it's
man.
perfect. So next mode is basically the checkpoint race. So you get points for each checkpoint you hit for your team, and if you're the leader, so if you've hit the most checkpoints, then you get 2 points. So there is kind of a race element, because the faster you go, the more checkpoints you hit, and then you're also the leader. So
Nice.
Run
but then,
away!
Of course, you can throw the balls at each other, so that's the demolition part. So it is this just crazy Mario Kart-esque.
I love that. I love like competitive nature of that kind of thing.
So when can we play that?
I'm hoping to release it next Friday.
Nice.
The thing is, I want to add a couple more other features in. I want to see how much I can actually add. The one problem I have is usually each version is not multiplayer compatible with another. And since I don't have Steam, I need to be very careful about fragmenting the community.
You hear
Right,
it here
so if
first,
I-
guys. If you want this
Yeah.
game to its full extent, go upvote this on Greenlight right now.
Yep. So on
Do it.
Greenlight now, votes are super, super appreciated. That is kind of like, it has to happen. Like if Greenlight doesn't happen, then this game will not live. That's just the way gaming is these days. It's
Not
on Steam.
yeah. Just for the DRM itself, and just for like the instant you get on Steam, probably like 40% of your, like maybe even more, 40% of your sales, like right there, like 40% of the money that you've made until Steam, like almost like the
Oh,
day
yeah.
you get on Steam, you get that back.
I would say at least. I mean, it's probably going to be a 10 to 100 multiplier
Yeah.
on sales. And then, the thing is, developers really make their money on the winter sales. Like 90% of their money comes from these sales, and without them, without that visibility, you really don't have anything. So it's just, fortunately, the Greenlight campaign is going really well.
Oh, is it?
It's just
That's
kind
fantastic.
of, it's like 70% of the way to the top 100. And if they're letting in games 100 at a time, then
How
it
long
might
ago
be
did
one or
you,
two more batches.
How long ago did you get on Greenlight?
2 months or so.
Okay, so that's not that bad at all.
Yeah, maybe like a month and a half. So it is actually going very well considering.
Mhm.
I think it is a good fit for Steam, for Greenlight. Like if you're doing kind of more experimental stuff,
Oh, definitely.
you're gonna have a harder time.
You do servers better than half the games on Steam.
Yeah. So I'm using Photon, which is kind of a third-party server, and it's awesome because it takes a lot of the stress away from you
It's like I was trying to play Risk of Rain the other day. I cannot play with my friends.
Yeah, and I've heard like Terraria is also really hard to get.
Yeah, Terraria, Minecraft. We're in almost 2014. Come on, guys, fix that. Shouldn't be hard to play with your friends.
I think Solon just threw the ball at 99 seconds, maybe to extend the game.
Nice guy, Solomon.
So, how is other stores like Humble Store and Green Man Gaming and that sort of thing? How are they playing into the whole you have to be on Steam or else you're done for thing?
So I have the Humble widget, which is nice because then at least it's kind of a trusted name and a trusted, identity that people are paying into, which helps. But it doesn't provide the exposure, right? I mean, that's really what you want from a
And to be honest, both of you, Parlock and Fedora Gamer, how many times have you bought a game on Humble, not a Humble bundle, and how many times have you bought a game on Steam? Just Steam just feels like a safe place for people, I guess.
Well, I buy games a lot through Humble Widget because
So do I, but not as much as
they
Steam.
do it in dollars, which works out cheaper for me most of the time than pound Steam prices.
Yeah, I guess so.
That's interesting.
I buy quite a bit on Humble Widget, but not as much as Steam. I actually don't buy many Steam games until the sales, and then I buy 6 games, 7 games,
Right.
Yeah.
I actually bought 2 games while we were talking because you guys mentioned them. I was like, oh, I should have this.
Oh, once.
Shadowrun Returns.
I think I own it, but I haven't played it yet, and I really need to.
Yeah.
I have about at least 50 games I've never played, so.
Yeah. The other one was Paranautical Activity, so that's by a guy named Spooter, who's been really, really helpful in terms of streaming.
Yes.
Like,
Yeah,
Ballback.
everybody knows who Spooter is.
Yeah, Mike Ballback and Travis Fetting, the designer.
So that one looks like it's on a really good sale for the winter sale, so I picked it up.
It was almost like 87% off or so
Yeah.
a couple days ago.
He likes to put it on 69% off. He's done that a couple times now.
Yeah.
So yeah, it really is a visibility thing, though. I mean, if Humble Store gets bigger and bigger, and I think they're getting there, but it's just it's just really hard to catch up with Steam.
Well, I think this 2013 has been fantastic for indies. Like just the market just became much more prevalent. People are giving indies a chance that people wouldn't before.
Yeah, I definitely think so. It's no longer like a I guess I'll try it, even though it's an indie. It's now like, oh, this is actually something that's new and different and riskier, and in some ways like more.
Yeah, so
it's
games
more fun because you can kind of focus. I think you can focus on the stuff that matters, and I think that really came up a lot in our talks today about the big AAA games and how like BioShock, like they had to cut out so much amazing stuff because they were focusing so much on creating this amazing world, and they did a great job with that. But sometimes then the actual part of the game, the fun part, doesn't really happen as much.
Yeah, it's you gotta pick which sacrifices are more, well, you gotta sacrifice some things when you're making a game, of course.
So
I just dream game.
I just killed 2 people with a single ball that were right next to each other. There needs to be a trick for that because it just gave me midair because I was in the air when I did it.
Ping pong or something.
So it should have counted as a multi-kill. I wonder if something weird happened.
Fedora.
I felt like a badass when I did that, though.
Yeah,
Double kill.
I really want to make a point of rewarding people for those crazy amazing moments, because a lot of times in the games like this really cool thing happens, but you're like, oh, it doesn't actually mean anything different, and this that's a huge
Shoot
part
Solid, thank you.
of the cycle.
He kept just circling.
Bulletstorm?
I have, so that was I played it like the demo.
Is Bulletstorm the game?
And that was kind of a bit of an inspiration, but I really didn't play it enough to really get a good sense of it. But that's the idea, where you can kill someone like 100 different ways, and each new way you do it, it actually tells you about it and gives you bonuses for it.
The game I was thinking of is I know it's like Shoot Mania. Have you played that?
Shoot Mania Storm.
Huh?
Shoot Mania Storm.
Shoot Mania Storm? Is that it?
Yeah.
Okay, have you played that?
I have not played that one.
That seems kind of like this. It's like those very precise shots.
Yeah.
And you shoot like one bullet at a time, and you have to like lead your target really far. It's a fun game. It's a bit like this.
Let's do this next. Let's do Rin.
And
Yeah,
I
I think my problem with Bulletstorm is it just didn't feel that satisfying because, again, they were just like bullet sponges.
The trick shooting was fun though. There was some crazy stuff you could do in that game.
Yeah, like he was saying, but it's just an assault rifle.
Yeah.
You need some kind of like one-hit kill where you lead the target and stuff like
Yeah.
that.
But I did like how it mixed other elements in with your leash thing or whatever that was, and your kick and your slide.
Yeah, that was a really fun. Like I love the idea of the leash.
The gravity leash or whatever, is that what it was called? Something like that.
Yeah, like I don't think indies are necessarily better or whatever than AAA. Like it's not really us versus them. I just think
I think they're more to the heart, like, of the developer. It's like their game, and they're not doing a game just to get money.
right. Like I don't think any giant studio would want to pick something like this to do because they're like, well, I can't do a lot with it.
Well, it's not guaranteed money, is the thing.
Yeah.
And they have to do that because they're a business, but they do what the people like, and they don't venture out of that most of the time.
Who does the announcer of this? Because it's great.
Oh yeah. So that's a guy named Bob Oakman, and I found him on YouTube. Some of the
very
developers I
Bob
work
Oakman.
next to kind of encouraged me. They poked me in the ribs to pursue that guy, and yeah, I sent him an email, and he was like, "Yeah, here's the deal," and it was the best decision I've ever made. It's the best money I've ever spent. It was just perfect. It really, really helps the game. It's a nice hook.
Oh,
Gives
Hired
people
Help's in here now.
He's been in here, man.
This year's
Yeah.
been the year of the indie announcers, hasn't it? You've had Gun Monkeys, which had their announcer. You've had Stanley Parable. You've had this.
So I kind of realized this the past couple days. I really, really want to get the Stanley Parable narrator in this game, and so kind of have an alternate, and also Sam from Gone Home.
You
and
should
have, like,
get.
alternate narrator schemes. Because I think that'd be hilarious to have a very
Would you have like or Stanley or Stanley Parable announcer be extremely sarcastic? Would you have Sam be very like innocent?
I hadn't thought about that. It was just going to be the same lines, but you're right. I probably should give them different kind of attitudes.
You should
as
just
well.
kind of give them their own personality, I think.
Yeah.
You
just
should
'cause the
get
announcement is so
vapid.
key to the game, and like getting, it's like 3 pages of one-liners. It's not a huge investment of time or monies, and I think it would just be to kind of link in with these other projects that have been very successful is kind of good PR. Plus, it would just be a lot of fun. It would just be like a cool thing.
No,
I
no.
like doing
There's a
things that are-
YouTuber you should get. You should get Vapid to do a voice pack for this.
Who's vapid?
I'll introduce you,
Amazing voice. Like
Okay.
when he talks, I have a raging heart on. That's all I gotta say.
Well, I'm sold.
I would put that as DLC, the Vapid pack. I'd pay for that.
Vapid pack. Awesome. I would love an introduction. I love doing that kind of stuff.
Oh Jesus!
Okay.
Yeah, well, I have him on my Skype too, so I can. Yeah, but that Exotix probably knows him a little better than I do. I'm supposed to do some stuff with him at some point, and I don't know.
He's a good guy.
Oh God, that voice.
But one more thing on like the indie angle, I guess. Within BioShock, they couldn't really maybe experiment like all those really cool ideas they had, but because any one of them is going to take a month of time because it has to be so polished.
Yeah, and they're
And with this,
they're always in that 2-year like time frame, right? They have to have it out by a certain date, so they have to cut some things.
yeah. And it's kind of like steering a giant ship. You can't really be nimble when all your stuff, like, if you're at a new level, a new mode, you can't really experiment because, like, well, that's a ton of assets, and we've already built all this stuff, and we really want to use it, and it's just hard to be kind of nimble like that. And I think with this game, I can add a new game mode in a day's worth of work and see if it's fun or not, and then tweak it very, very easily. And I think that's because I've saved like the graphical polish till last. And it just makes it easy to experiment. I think that's the only way you're going to get good ideas. So I think if there's any endemic, whatever,
Wait,
or
graphical
intrinsic
polish?
advantage,
So you don't intend the end graphics to be moving exclamation marks?
nope.
I actually like these graphics. It's
They're charming.
it's
So
charming,
it
yeah.
kind of works. Like I am kind of scared that when I add the nicer bot model, that it'll it'll make everything else look crappy, and kind of just change the expectations. Because when you look at this model, you're like, okay, this is going to be ridiculous, like fun, silliness.
Yeah, I
And as
like
soon as
these either.
I'm a little worried that it'll kind of take something away, but I'll just have to see.
Are you taking a nap, Solon? Because I'm just like destroying you.
He lets people win sometimes.
He's really good. So in the tournament we were talking about that Luca ran, Solon was on the winning team.
Is this you, Eric, or is this bot Eric?
I am dodge this, so that must be Eric bot. Yep.
There's two of you.
Dodge this, unfortunately broke my kill streak, but I got you back.
So I want to do more with kill streaks too. Basically give you bonus points for it and special particle effects.
That'd be cool.
So that people know that you're on a great kill streak, because that's
so everyone knows that you're a badass.
Yeah.
Oh, I just killed 3 people with 1 ball.
Come on, I was having a special time with Solon.
Oh, that was amazing.
You got a triple?
I think so. It said triple kill. I didn't know if it looked like 2 people there, but I think somebody else just came out of the spawn because it was right next to their spawn. And it just ate the ball at the same time as everybody else.
Yep. That's fine.
Fedora, you don't know how many times I tried to shoot someone then and hit you in the back of the head instead.
Quit that. Aim better.
Ultra kill.
Stop getting in my way.
I'm suddenly pro at this.
Trying to win here.
You got caught.
Oh,
You always get, like,
Solon caught my ball, you dick. That killed my streak.
Yeah, Solon is just hanging out.
Yeah, I think that's what he's doing. Is trying to get people to throw it at him so he can catch it.
Yeah.
We're just tossing the ball back and forth.
So there's also a rocket jump in this game that a player named Mador discovered. So if you fire the ball at the ground and look down, you can fly basically at the ceiling.
What?
I'll get in the middle and like try to do it.
You had to jump when you do it? Is that what you... Oh, shit.
You fully charge your jump, fully charge the throw, sprint, look down, throw, and release jump.
That's not convoluted at all.
It's actually like, it's just like two, once you get the hang of it.
I didn't know you
it's
could
not
charge your
direct
jump.
Hold down the space button.
Yeah, that's cool. Oh, hey, there's you with the ball. I'm going to avoid that.
Watch Parlock.
The other aspect I want to add is, so I just kind of discovered this when I was working on the Derby race mode. I want kind of a power slide feature.
That would be cool.
So that you can, right now when you turn directions, you slow down. You can see your RPMs drop. When you're racing, you don't want to do that, right? Like, you just want to keep your momentum and slide around a corner. And there's something about that, like the Mario Kart style, where drifting is just, it adds this really great sense of movement and skill to everything. And I think that's missing, and particularly in the race mode, I think it really needs something like that. So I don't really know quite how to implement it, whether it's like just holding down right click or some combination of keys.
Yeah, because right click
sure.
is kind of pointless, so I don't think I'll ever use that.
Yeah, like there's, right now it like looks at your bot, but I can map that to something else. But I think there's, every time I jump, I want to hold down the right click button and then press an angled direction and then have it'll just kind of keep sliding me around a corner.
Yeah, I think that either like the right, or either that or something near shift, like one of those keys.
Yeah. It might make more sense on a controller.
Does this have a controller support?
It doesn't, but it's absolutely on the list of stuff.
Okay, because
I
I
want to
play
make
with
this
a-
a couch co-op game as well, like the
Yeah.
split screen multiplayer.
I play with a trackpad and it's really difficult sometimes.
Oh god, yeah. Yeah, I definitely want controller support. I mean, ideally this gets on the consoles as well. I'd love to have it on.
Mid-air.
PlayStation's been really friendly towards indies, so I
Gotta get
definitely
it
try
on.
there
Ooh
first.
yeah, man.
Yeah, and yeah, I don't see why
Tower
not.
fall and dodge.
Yep.
Wait, Disco Dodgeball.
Yep. So that's definitely in the plans.
Gosh, Solon is just insane.
He's good.
Fedora.
Right?
Just try to catch balls. You don't have to like go up in his face.
Yeah, like, catch this motherfucker.
Anything you can to win, Fedora.
Exactly.
Fedora.
Yeah, Fedora, you got 15 kills. You're having a great round.
I had a
Well,
major
Fedora,
streak
that's so
going on,
much,
but
it's like
not so
something
much.
above his face.
Solon likes balls to the face. Come on.
Parlock, I'm watching you.
I love you, Solon. Just playing.
You're not watching me enough, are you, mate?
Parlock's been all business this whole entire Disco Dodgeball game. He's not saying a word.
Intense concentration, my friend.
Yet you are doing... never mind.
Badly.
You're doing okay. I have
But
one kill. I'm just
You have
playing
one kill. Well, it's a trackpad. That's got to be impossible.
Well, I did
Yes.
really well with the basketball for some reason.
You know how to charge your shot, right?
Yeah, but it doesn't always work with the trackpad.
Oh, sure.
Click
yeah.
it like 5 times, and like the 5th time it actually charges.
He's playing with a trackpad that apparently is extremely faulty.
Something's wrong with it.
Yeah, it doesn't sound
Like
good.
I had to like mash the key for it to actually charge.
Ricochet.
Damn you, Eric! You're too good. Get out.
In general, if you guys know other streamers, anyone on the YouTube channel, I basically want to give this game to anyone that has a
Yeah.
channel because
Yeah, for
like
sure.
that's why I built the game to be really good at that kind of.
Yeah,
game
this
type.
is streamers like paradise right here.
Yeah.
This is a great game to stream. But I think we should end about this point.
Sure.
We're half hour over our normal time, so go ahead.
Should we not do a Kickstarter this episode?
No,
Or
we will
next
do that Kickstarter next week. There's still time on it, so.
Alrighty, guys.
So let's just do some plugging and let everybody go home.
They're out watching this.
Yeah.
Like a sports bar.
They'll go
Figuratively.
sat in a theatre.
We go to like a Buffalo Wild Wings. This is on all the TVs.
You go ahead first, Joe. Drop your links in the chat. Tell people where they can find you, where they can grab your game, and... Why did I say Joe? I was looking at the... Eric, I was looking at Parlock's thing on the podcast when I was talking.
Cool.
Eric,
Sorry.
that is. Yeah, Parlock doesn't make games.
Okay, so I
Not
just
yet,
dropped
I
the green link in the chat. Like I said, it's really, really important. So if you like the game, vote for it, tell your friends, do everything you can, because that's like the most important thing right now. Otherwise, yeah. Disco Dodgeball, and hopefully going to be released sometime 2014. But before that, I'll be doing early access so people can, right now people can buy it. I'll actually put that link too. People can buy it, and that will come with 2 Steam keys when it gets greenlit. The idea that as soon as it gets greenlit, then I'll have a massive influx of players.
That'd be great.
Um,
Buy it. Vote for it. Buy your grandma a copy of it. Buy your dog a
Yes.
copy of it.
Go to the Buffalo Wild Wings. Buy everybody there.
Well, what is the price point on the game? I won it in a stream, so I can't remember.
So it's $5 now, and when it gets on early access, I'm gonna make that 10, and then when it's finally released, it'll be 15. So I feel like that's nice, easy.
Good guy Eric
Price points.
not having people pay full price for early access.
Yep.
Exactly. So that's a practice that
Am
I
I the
very
only
much approve
person in
of.
this podcast? Am I the only person in this podcast who actually paid money for this?
Eric gave it to me like months ago.
And Maximus gave me mine. I won it in his stream, so it was paid for by Maximus. I assume. I don't know. It might be pirated. I have no idea.
Buy a copy and give it to someone.
Yeah.
Get your money's worth.
All right.
Yeah, but definitely check out Disco Dodgeball. Exotix, me, hi. Stream sometimes. Parlock.
What? Oh,
Plug
sorry.
yourself. Drop your links.
youtube.com/edgezombie, twitch.tv/Parlock. I play Oblivion of Orcs and Men and Assault After Cactus on YouTube, and I do See You're Being Hunted on Twitch, and I am super sexy.
He has a British accent. What more do you need?
Yeah, but he's so cynical.
That's part
It's
of the
almost like I'm
package.
the real cynical Brit. Oh,
Except for not rich and famous.
I wish.
Yeah.
Yeah. Someday, right?
But soon, someday.
And oh yeah, I was like, who's up now? And I'm Fedora. You're watching this on my Twitch channel, so if you're watching this, you should click that little follow button on Twitch, or you can find me on my YouTube channel, which is where I do most things. My Twitch channel is mostly the podcast, and I stream like twice. Yeah, just the podcast mostly. If I had more time, I would stream more, and I am on YouTube at youtube.com/FedoraGamer with a 4 for the A in gamer, because that's just, I say this every time, but it's so awkward to say. I didn't think that through very well.
Fedora Jaformer.
Yeah.
That sounds like Norwegian. Fedora, Fedora.
Right.
Yeah, it was like Italian or something.
So go subscribe. Subscribe to me on Twitch. Subscribe to me on YouTube. Do all those things. But if you're watching this on Twitch, you already know where to find me. If you're watching this VOD, you're already on my channel. So it's kind of pointless for me to say any of this, but you know.
You're halfway there.
Yeah,
Whoever you are.
exactly. Good former.
Okay, and quickly before we end, everybody, most the thing that you're looking forward to 2014, Eric.
Getting this game out, I think.
Oh yeah, Parlock.
Either Watch Dogs or Ultra Street Fighter 4.
Doesn't have to be a game. Is a oh my god, Street Fighter 4. Get out of here, Parlock. Fedora.
Pretty much every game I have my top 5 list of early access games, I'm looking forward to those being finished. That's what I'm looking forward to the most.
I'm actually looking forward to Disco Dodgeball being complete and having that tournament mode, or some kind of tournament. That sounds beyond fun to me.
It does.
Yeah, that should be a lot of fun. Thanks.
But yeah, that has been the podcast. Anything we want to say before we end?
Thanks for joining us, both Eric and Parlock. It was a pleasure having you.
Thanks for having
Thank
me.
you very much for having me.
And really thanks to Eric, because last minute, I need somebody on the podcast.
Okay, Fedora, I need to teach you. Why'd you ask everybody last minute? Everybody you always ask last minute.
No, usually I have them early in the week, but the holidays put me behind on everything. And
Okay.
then you told me not to bother asking anyone else because you were trying to get somebody. And then
but
yesterday
they
you
don't
tell
know.
me, oh, find somebody, because that person said no.
Oh, they didn't say no. They didn't say anything at all. I think they were on holiday.
Yeah, so I would have been looking earlier, and I actually sent the message to Eric last night, but he didn't get back to me until this morning because he was sleeping
yes,
or something.
Yes, thank you, Eric.
Yep.
No
It was
problem.
an extremely
Everything
fun
worked out.
episode.
All right, I think we're done. So bye, everybody. Thanks for joining us. See you next time.
on another episode of Randomly Generated Podcast.